I will start the pledge. Ready? Begin. I pledge the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Community comments. There are not agenda items. Oh,
I haven't been here in a while. I've had it in time. Lived here 38 years. And I'm bringing something up that probably already know about. Two little things. Today I went to put a flag at the community club in the box where you can put the flags for the Boy Scout project. And once again, I saw that lovely trailer park. And now it's worse than ever. Oh, there's a burned out shell of a trailer. There's trash everywhere. There's the hood of a car or a truck. Sorry, that's on outside the property. Now I know it's private property. I know it's been an issue for I've lived here 38 years, and I used to live right up the street from it. So I don't know if you can do anything about private property, but how about the things on the street, out on the street for trash, outside that shell of a trailer? It's a lot of trash, and that shell of a hood of a truck. I'm on the illegal dumping task force. When you see me not walking, how can I pick up stuff? Well, I did. But I support them, and they are all seniors, and they can't be expected to pick up the hood of a truck. So that's number one. And number two is the vacant lot. It's opposite the old market post office, that vacant lot there on the corner of Crown Valley. It's the chain link fence has been down for a while. I mean, flat. Very dangerous for horses. Very dangerous for parking, drive your car over it, or parking, or for people getting out of their passenger side of the vehicle there if they park. Again, private property. If there's anything that can be done, I would like to address that.
The chain link you're talking about, is that on Hawks property? Or no. Which properties? On the east side end of Crown Valley?
It's opposite the old market. It's not on Crown Valley. It's behind. There's those little old houses there, and they were really determined. It's that vacant lot towards on Smith, towards the Patriot. Well, they put those here. It's on Smith. Okay. So that right up on the edge of the property is the falling down fence. Right across from the bank. So that's my question, if I can do anything about it, or anybody can do anything about it.
So the fence is fallen not into the property, but towards the street.
I don't think so. I think it was probably in the right.
We can certainly talk about it.
It's right there where you park, so.
Josie, are you on?
Josie, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, hold on, I got the volume. Yeah. I'm close. Try again.
So it sounds like what Patty's talking about is a fence that was around an industrially zoned property. It's vacant, has fallen down, and it's fallen apparently or probably into the county road pipe, the right of way there.
Do you have an address or a street name?
At Smith Street, right across from the bank, California Bank Trust.
Crown Valley and Smith. Crown Valley and Smith.
Except for it's a little bit down Smith.
No, it's right on the corner. Right at the stop sign.
But when the fence is falling down, is it just on the Smith side or on
No, the whole thing. The whole 100 yards. Okay.
I'll have staff look at it and see what can be done.
Okay, and the other thing, she brings up with about the Cactus Creek. It's really just the illegal mobile home parking active. We tried. In fact, I thought we had a meeting set up between Public Works and Regional Water Quality Control Board and Acton Town Council. TJ Kim, I think, was putting it together, and then Regional Water backed out, and then it never happened again. But that one of the reasons that Cactus Creek was supposed to be closed on, 20 years ago was because they have illegal cesspools. And that's, I believe, the key source of the contamination for Water Works District 1. you know, Public Works has told us for decades that it's the fault of these septic systems of the residents of Acton that's contaminating the well. And that's just not true. We've got these cesspools there that are literally a few hundred feet away from and within the protected zone of that well. And we can't seem to get Public Works, the Waterworks District, anyone to care about it. So if we could lift that issue back up to them, up to teachers or to whoever that we can. Because really, you know, we brought the issue to the residents in this community filed a letter of intent to sue the EPA, which put the EPA into action. They brought a lawsuit against the property owner. The administrative law judge said, yes, this is illegal, and it should be, and ordered it to be closed for the property owner. So, you know, we've done everything we can. It's time for the county to start doing something.
Kathy, can I just add that I saw there's new construction going up, looks like a permanent structure, the framing of a permanent, why don't you give us the fence?
I told you about that.
Yeah, you and I had
I went and looked at it, because a resident called me to complain about it, wondering what was going on. And to me, it looks like there's new people living in the park because we've got a tow truck parked there at night.
Like this person who took up drivers today.
Yes. And so the truck is there. Just when I went onto the market, you can see it. It's there. And there's other things going on in there too. But it certainly looks like some kind of.
Well, then that's another thing. Could you check with building and safety, because they should have pulled a permit for the structure. I looked at things for I looked at things when you told me that, Pam. I looked at things on regional planning, and I found no record of them submitting for a plot plan or site plan, which is it's true that they're supposed to pull their permit. The permits get approved by the state, but the state requires them to apply local ordinances that don't have to do with building permits. So, yeah, exactly. So the state regulates mobile home parks and RV parks under the Mobile Home Parks Act, but they still require local compliance with local regulation.
So you're saying there's new construction happening in the Cactus Creek area?
Yeah, on the site there, and that is on Smith Street.
I think I have that address.
It's right on the corner of 3rd and
3740 Smith, right across from our community center.
Yeah.
3740 Smith. And I'm really grateful that you are at our meetings. I'm just going to say it.
And the burned out trailer is a hazard.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have a burned out trailer in another park and we got rid of that. So why isn't this one being taken care of?
I'll follow up with our building and safety and our waterworks. If they have questions, should they contact you, Jackie, directly?
For the ATC at
NPC, yeah, okay.
Is this going the way of County Lakes? That why?
No, okay, yeah, I wish.
Well, I mean, as far as
Why they're
the
not?
county wants to do something about County Lakes, but they're meeting full of resistance.
I
I mean,
what
what
county's told us that the reason nothing's happened is because they can't find the property.
But then they're sold.
They can't find County Lakes.
No. Yeah. But then they heard, somebody said that they had sold, but then when we looked, they still everything. After that, they sold, so I.
These have been recorded.
I've been before.
It's a mess. I actually had, on social media, there were some people complaining about Cactus Creek.
Sure.
And this was during December, I think, yeah. And so I gave them a link to make comments and complaints directly to the EPA regarding.
Oh, yeah, that's
and we signed it. And when I made the complaint, I cited the their judgment that they had put against us. So they never enforced their own.
No, and the problem is also the state, because I actually talked with the head of, it's all regulated by the HCD, the Housing and Community Development Department of the state of California. And I talked to the head of the department responsible for that. He promised me that they would work with regional plan, no, he called me up out of the blue. I don't know, people keep giving these people my phone numbers, and I keep saying, you know, I can't talk to you, we need to have this conversation in public, but he's steamrolled for a little. Anyway, so he said he's working with regional planning. And then, so you know what, we have emails back. Maybe we should email him tomorrow. He told me that the problem that HCD has is they have to find homes for all these things because that's what the law requires. Well, then I spent, after I hung up the phone, I spent 3 hours going through both the Mobile Home Parks Act itself, the statute that was adopted, and the regulations that were adopted to implement them. And those requirements are not in there. So we basically BS us. So, and that was just, that was not very long ago. There are a lot of things that happened since then. So we didn't even pick that cross up and touch base with him again.
Oh, I was just gonna ask how long ago this phone call was. It was like a week ago or
Oh, no.
a month ago?
It was like in November, I think it was.
Do you remember what the guy's name was?
I can find it. After I leave the next Okay.
I just have a question. I sent you an email, Jackie, I don't know if you got it, but about the, like, safe passage or riding and hiking trail that's supposedly supposed to be in front of, not the junior high school, but the fencing next to the junior high school that gets people out to the crosswalks where they're crossing guards. I was told there's supposed to be some sort of fencing put in there, by, trails. But then the guy at Trails said he thought it was Public Works that needed to do that. And I said, no, it was my understanding that it was through the trails. And he said, no, Public Works has a safe passage program or whatever for kids at school.
Safe routes to school?
Safe routes to school. So I said, well, this would serve for so many purposes. I mean, riding and hiking, safe passage for horses, mostly for the kids that are coming out of school. To get to their parents' cars or whatever. It also to solve 5 problems.
I apologize for not getting back to you.
That's okay.
What's going on. This has been the eternal problem we have between Public Works and Parks and Rec. You know, it says in the area plan that Public Works is supposed to allow its right-of-way that it's not using for any purpose for trails until a real trail can be established. Because Public Works says you can't have a trail in our right-of-way. The Parks and Rec says we won't get a trail on Public Works routes. Even though the general plan, the area plan says that you're supposed to use a trail on Public Works right-of-way if the right-of-way is not being used for any other purpose, and if there is no trail yet at that point. And so, we pointed this out. Cited the provisions of the AV plan, both Public Works and Parks and Rec, and they won't do anything about it. But that area is what I would consider to be excess Public Works use. It's excess right-of-way, right?
Yes.
And so, and we have tried to get the first time it just didn't get on the ground at all with Public Works. The second time we did get a grant application submitted, but it was, I think, too little too late. And so, you know, so we didn't get a Safe Routes to School grant application, and that whole thing since then died. We not gotten anybody to work with us on it. We had Steve Knight supporting it, right? It's the federal grant process. But I don't think that there's any reason why we can't, again, push for, hey, this is what the AV area plan says, and it works for student safety, it works for the community, it's what we want, why not? So, I mean, we can talk more about it, and we can make a motion, I guess, under the trails, because we have that on the standing committee's trails. But I think that would be, I don't, yes, I'll try again. You know,
I just think
the
it's
problem we have, yeah, the problem we have is the county is completely taken up with the fires, which I get, it's important. But, you know, we had several meeting items at our last agenda in December. that we could put on hold because, Supervisor Barber's, we can't go to any other supervisor, right? They're not going to care. But Supervisor Barber cares, but her hands are completely full, especially with some of the information that's come out recently on the Eaton fund. So we're kind of, we're never going to get traction with the county departments without Supervisor Barber's help. And she's fully saturated right now, is that right, Chuck? I mean, she's, right. So I don't, that's a problem, it's a big problem too, so.
Well, and it's not a new problem, right? It's not a new trail. I mean, it's
Right.
promised a long time ago, probably about the time the school went in. So I don't know, I mean, Chuck, what can we do? It's like, I mean, I know we need her support on it, but can Public Works help with it? Is it a county? How do we fix it?
We have to get Public Works to agree to do something with that property, or allow Parks and Recs to put a trail. We have money under Measure A for stuff like this, but, we haven't had one for probably 8 months, but we used to have quarterly meetings with Public Works, Regional Planning, and Parks and Rec to address specifically trails and this specific issue. And in 4.5 years, that one problem that's caused, that is the source of all the problems, which are zero, is the intransigence of Public Works and Parks and Rec. And that has never been solved in 4.5 years. No matter, I go into these meetings, and we all go to these meetings, and I come at it in different ways, at least 10 different ways. Okay, how about trying this provision of the code? How about trying this provision of the general plan? It's like, oh, okay. It's like these agencies that aren't aware that they have to comply with the general plan. They have no idea. But everything Public Works does is supposed to be dictated by the provisions of the general plan, including the provision that says, make your right of way if it's a drainage easement, if it's a whatever, make it available for trails if doing so doesn't harm the purpose of it, right? And it can be done, because our 80 area plan said we have a problem with getting trails. The biggest problem, frankly, is not so much Public Works, it's Parks and Rec. Their only interest is to get trails and get trail easements on places where a dedicated backbone trail has to be mapped. Even though the 80 area plan says you have to get trails, feeder trails, and they're called feeder trails, and they're called connection trails. So a feeder trail is a trail that goes from your driveway to the Darrell Redmond Trail. Okay, it feeds into the backbone trail. So they're supposed to get dedicated trails on every subdivision, that's for the feeder trails. Whenever you create a lot, and we, as a community, has for 40 years now said, we want every house to be connected to a trail via a trail, so that this is an equestrian community. So, and also for pedestrians, right? And so, frankly, in my mind, the biggest problem has been, in a lot of ways, is Parks and Rec. Our CC, the zoning code says, get a trail for a subdivision. And Parks and Rec consistently says, we only get trails when subdivision is on this mapped area. We had to fight like hell a year ago to get a trail across that subdivision near Little St. Avery. Because Parks and Rec was like, we didn't ask for it. So, and to break that, we need Supervisor Barber. We just do. We can't claim a safety issue for the kids.
We've done that.
We've done that. Public Works has helped. They put those signs up there, no parking, right, during certain hours.
Yeah.
Because it was really, we had parents coming, rightly so, and the school district worked us. Coming and saying, hey, my kid walks by and those creepy vans, campers, people who live at 1,000 Trails. Yes, they do live at 1,000 Trails, everybody. It's regional planning is not agreeing with that. Supervisor Barber's office doesn't rock with it, whatever. But they are living there illegally. And so, and then they come and parents were rightly concerned, right? Because it's just like, open the door, grab a kid, boop, that's it, right? Nobody sees anything, nobody knows anything. So we did get the signs up, but we need to do more.
But those signs are not keeping the taco guy out and the
Right.
lady selling hot chocolate out of the back of her car and the, and I have nothing against them, I just don't want them where our kids are. Like, the kids don't need to walk by vans or buses.
And their trash ends up,
Everywhere.
Oh, I
And
know,
you have businesses that are paying license fees, paying rent, and doing all these things, they're taking it, yeah, I can get over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree.
And then Tammy can bring her crew and clean it up.
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Any other community comments? Yes.
Just one real quick.
Yeah.
There's been a pile of road, asphalt dumped off Escondido and Covered Road by the mailbox.
Asphalt or concrete?
Concrete asphalt.
Okay.
Where? It's on Escondido.
Covered.
Covered,
okay,
where our mailboxes are.
yeah,
So now, no, we can't go through to stay off of Escondido.
no.
So we have to swing back out.
So somebody dumped that.
Somebody dumped like 2 months ago, it's still there.
Okay, so I've got a meeting with Chuck and the AV dumping task force.
Have you tried, I'm just curious, because I know something wants to play. You tried reporting on the works app?
The owner of the property
Oh, it's on.
is trying to, they bought that whole parcel and right there, so they've been trying to get rid of it, and they contacted, I don't know who all, but they've not had much success.
He's contacted Chuck, he's contacted me.
Okay.
It's Doug, right?
I
Yeah.
don't know that.
Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna go to the meeting on Wednesday and we're gonna ask for help with funds for like a concrete roll-off type of thing. And we're gonna get it cleaned up. But he's gonna, but we need the approval from the task force.
Maybe a week, but because something over $3,000, it's still.
Yeah, it'll be probably close to that because it'll be expensive, but anyway, and
It's a lot, yeah.
yeah, and then we've got some volunteers, but then Doug said there's neighbors that have tractors that can help us with it too. So I will find out on Wednesday if we have any money for that or not. So, and we will get it cleaned up, but it's technically on private property, although it's right behind the cluster mailboxes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a fine line, you know, and he didn't post it there, you know.
we didn't.
Would you argue it's on us? Because it's on that little road everyone takes, so they don't have to go into it. So isn't that like an easement for the public to use? So
It's
would you
private road, it's just right through the car.
It's on his property and people just use it and he's never, it's fine that they use it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But because it's been dumped on now, it's private property.
Okay.
So hopefully we get through all work.
All right.
Thank you.
Next, of course, I have a real quick. So there's a little box over there, and there are links from the county, there are gun locks, either endorsement or anything, but please take them to part of. So, they're in the box, grab them.
What are they?
They're gonna.
Okay. Answer. Regional planning apparently has a new approach for sharing information. They now decided that one-stop meetings are not public and will no longer allow us to monitor them. There is no basis for this decision, and in fact, one-stop meetings have always been open to the public. I've had one-stop meeting with the county 20 years ago, and I did open to the public. No public, nobody came. They could have.
Are we sure it's a policy change, or this is just?
Don't know. I'm not wasn't going to go any further until we decided what to do next. We're going to evaluate for it. We need to do it, but the ICE correspondence secretary requested the planner to provide information on 3 other projects. And in response, the site planner declined to provide the information, looked at LA, and told us to submit a public records act request. So I don't know what is going on, but regional planning has now become, or just the door is shut. In fact, we've gone to the website, they say the LA County office is permanently closed. It used to be, when we had to have meetings with regional planning, we drive them.
Yeah.
But it's like to the public, I mean, permanently closed to the public. It's just,
There, so the condition for certain close to.
permanently closed, that's what I was like, okay. So, you know, it's really what we're running with. I mean, that's the seem the regional plan is interested in it. Transparent. So that's a problem. Maybe we'll talk about it later on. There was a new proposed subdivision on Hubbard Road, 18 acres. proposed for 9 one-acre lots. The parcel owner has requested a one-stop counseling meeting. That was the project that we just want to monitor to hear what is being told to the developer. And usually, we also provide our own comments on the project before the one-stop, so that to help that sort of shape what the town says. Usually our comments have to do with trails, especially with subdivision, and lot size. Those are typically the two things that we talk about. But what I don't understand is they want 1 acre parcels, and it's 2 acre minimum. So that's going to be a struggle with regional planning again, because that always is a struggle we have. So let me look it up. It's on, it's an EnerGov, or I just downloaded it. It's there. EnerGov. I guess I'm sorry. It's, I did say it on there. Are you able to put it? So if you can look the EnerGov we got today, just came in this morning, so it's just random. Yeah. People all over the place. Let's see. Calvary Cycle has prepared emergency regulations to begin to address the improper disposal of waste at unlicensed and unpermitted sites in the Antelope Valley and elsewhere. They are hosting a meeting tomorrow evening. Did you get that notice posted on the website? Okay. So it is at 6345 Hubbard Road.
Oh, it's at this bar, and down here.
Yeah, I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure.
but it's the park side, yes, surely.
Yeah, okay. And it's a pretty big lot, so, anyway, so there, I think comments on the Calvary Cycle, regulations are due in like 4 or 5 days. It's a really quick emergency thing, so we will talk about it. We have nothing to see if you want to take a position. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but it's certainly something that's important. Today, there was a public meeting of the Malibu City Council that included EPA and FEMA addressing disposal of waste following the Palisades fire. The notice came in to the Atc Town Council email box. I spoke at the meeting as a private resident, specifically asking that they do a cradle-to-grave system of disposing of the waste so that it doesn't get dumped out here, especially in these places out in Lake LA and in Teaneck area, and also our community. So, let's see, the other thing is the homeless count is slated for February 18th and 20th. The county needs volunteers for this effort, so if you're interested in participating, you should contact Supervisor Farmer's office. And finally, LA County is hosting a Clean Beach Poster Art Contest for LA County students in grades 3 to 5 who reside in the county of Los Angeles. If you're interested, if you're participating, or have kids in the 3rd to 5th grade, please contact Supervisor Farmer's office, and I will forward that to you and let you get a chance today. And then I want to follow up with a couple other things that were discussed at January 6th, but have not been pursued because of the fires. Contacting the district attorney's office to address Cactus Creek. Actually, I did contact the deputy, the Antelope Valley, the head of her office, his office there, and she gave me the contact of somebody down in Los Angeles, because that would have to go through the Los Angeles office, not Antelope Valley. And then the fires on the so I didn't hear. The other thing that hasn't happened yet is contacting Supervisor Barber to ask for a meeting to address the 2 key issues we identified regarding ordinance development and film ordinance. So those things have not happened. Because I just don't want to, those are important issues, and I just don't want to ask Supervisor Barber for something which can't get explained. Although, do you know that the film ordinance was supposed to go to the board tomorrow, and we were pretty upset about that, if you remember at the last meeting.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen it. I know it's not on the agenda.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think it's on the agenda, okay?
Yeah, but we want to see it way before, you know, so
Okay.
there's no outreach, community outreach at all. I mean, none. And, you know, compared to what was done for the accessory dwelling unit ordinance, for the cannabis ordinance, there was huge outreach, especially the communities. But the film, we were told by Smith, oh, well, you'll see it when it gets close to the board agenda. But just like, it's a done deal at that point, you know, so. And
Yeah, I'll ask come on, Tim, what's happening to it?
That would be good. Okay, that's it. Was anyone else like any others?
When Edison had their power shut off, this was early January, the first one. Actually, signal up there, Public Works puts the stop sign up, it's down, on street level. And I know somebody that works in town, their son coming home from work, he stopped, car behind him didn't hit him 7 miles an hour. This was in the daytime, so at night, there's no lights there.
Yeah.
They need to put something back a couple hundred yards,
Yeah,
say there's a
pulling.
stop sign ahead, because it's.
Okay,
somebody
wait,
gets
so,
killed.
all right, so you're talking about the Metrolink signal, traffic signal.
Yes. When it's
It
not
wasn't
permitted.
working because of PSPS.
Yes.
And so Public Works put up a
They
stop.
got a
Yeah,
little
one
area,
yeah.
a regular stop sign.
But it's like
down
2
there,
feet up round now.
so you don't see it until you get right up to it.
So Public Works turned it into a four-way stop.
Yeah.
Through PSPS.
Actually, a freeway.
But three-way,
Yeah.
you're right, three-way, which isn't a bad idea, it's, maybe
No,
should
but
be stopped off.
The commuters that come through here, they just blow right.
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
It's nuts.
There's everybody.
Well,
So-
half the
so-
time that sign is blown over, that stop
Yeah,
sign,
that too.
because the fence was flat on the ground.
So let's, okay, so Josie, maybe we can talk to you about that also. Sorry to put you on the spot, but, you know,
That's fine. I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm listening.
commuters are used to going through, 80, 90 miles an hour there because we have no presence chips here at all. I would show, they're not even, you never see them. And so, commuters are used to going at 70 miles an hour. Then maybe what Public Works needs to do is to have a sign, or Edison needs to assign a person for traffic control. Because if that light's out, nobody's gonna stop. Commuters aren't.
This is on Soledad, correct? Entering the
Sierra
Metrolink station.
Sierra Highway, it's where Sierra Highway
Yeah.
turns into Sierra Highway, basically at the Metrolink station.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to our road people. Because they're probably the ones that put those stop signs because the lights weren't working, and then have our PSM traffic people coordinate with Edison on how to improve, like you said, the notice. Because people are not aware of, it's off, and then, like you said, people are driving fast, and all of a sudden they have to stop.
Right, and they're used to buzzing through, because that light is almost always green in the Sierra Highway. There might be somebody from Edison on the line. We invited Rochelle Silsby to listen in, but we need to have something at that light something there that makes the light work even during PSPS. So that's something. And I'd like, if it's possible, was this your son that got hit?
No,
A neighbor.
Neighbor.
Would it be possible, because this is part of what we tell the Public Utilities Commission. If I could get a copy of that traffic report from your neighbor, either redact whatever private information you want, that's not the important thing. The important thing is this, because we're trying to explain to Edison that every bad thing that the Public Utilities Commission said could happen, but PSPS does happen, and traffic lights being out is one of them. So if you wouldn't mind getting your neighbor and just have them, you can take a photo of it or whatever, and just snap a shot of it, just email it to the town council. Because then we'll have it as part of the record, and we will submit stuff out to public field.
Yes, there's streetlights too, they're out there.
Well, that's not such a bad thing here, because we only have one street light, but it's an important one, right? So, as your neighbors found out, or grand side, relaxed.
Library.
Right. So first thing I want to mention is some upcoming programs we've got. This week on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to be pulling the telescope out one more time. We're going to be checking out the moon, and we'll have some stuff going on in the meeting room with that. So learn a little bit about the moon and check it out up close. Another program we've got going on is going to be close to the end of the month, Wednesday, February 26th. That's going to be at 3:30. for kids, we're doing a marble run program, so we'll build the tracks and some marbles flying down the tracks. I'll probably go flying all over the game ground. How high, but it should be fun, we'll have a great time. As usual, all of our programs, they are online on the website and also in our app. Next thing I want to mention, let's see here. Monday, February 17th, that is a holiday, we'll be closed for President's Day that day. I didn't check, we didn't mark that as your next meeting, did you? Normally I check that. This time. And last thing I'm going to mention, you guys always know that I have the public health gives me the COVID tests. They're also now, as a result of all the fires that broke out earlier in the month or earlier in January, all the libraries now have N95 masks that they're giving out. So if you need any of those, I've got them at this front desk. Go on up, grab what you need. Surprise.
How many can you give them?
Whatever you need.
Are you sure?
Yeah. You want a case? Yeah.
I'm thinking
You should be careful what you ask for. So that's all I've got, unless you guys have questions for me. Okay.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, representatives, so I just need to know where you guys are talking. If anybody's a representative on Google, let us know. Otherwise, we'll start with Chuck.
You guys, as much as I do most of it, I will say that the supervisor had said at the January 14th meeting that as a result of the wildfires, she was going to propose an amendment or a motion to pause best facilities in Los Angeles County. I just tried today to see what the time frame for that is, and I don't know. I thought I copied out the motion to see what she said, but it's essentially, but I didn't put it in my pocket when I came in here. But it's essentially that she says she was alerting the other board members that she wanted to pause best facilities until the lessons learned from the recent fires could be absorbed. Now, just point out that was 2 days before the Moss Landing best fire. So I tried today to see what's the time frame for that motion, and I don't have it. Because as you mentioned, the fires are just up again.
That was a big issue at the Malibu meeting I sat in on. Big topic was, is everybody in Palisades have electric cars?
Electric car, yes.
Lots of these batteries.
And so she mentioned that, and I didn't know what she was talking about.
There was a news thing, I'll see if I can find it and send you, Chuck.
Yeah.
But there was an underground lithium battery facility, e-bike batteries, and it complicated.
And that wasn't a home battery storage.
No. Or Assembly Blackie, or Congressman, Whiteside. Well, once again, Dwight, I think we do have somebody from the RTC here. You can pick. Anything you'd like to?
So the other thing that we have that we want whoever can attend tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Coffee Cycle is speaking on. They came in November. They came to visit the East and West Antelope Valley, where all the illegal dumping sites are at, and there's literally on the east side, there's a lot of places where they filled up construction debris and they just covered up with dirt or mulch.
So they call it mulch.
So, and then also on the Alma Baker Supreme Court side, you have somebody who's running an illegal sorting facility and also an illegal landfill pretty much. So they're not. So they came to visit, and what they're doing as a result of their visit is doing the emergency ordinance to pretty much the code, the way it was written, it's only the people, the property owners who they can go after, but now they're going after the people who transport or who arrange for something to be illegally done at sites. So they're trying to get the different the different angles. So that's the same part where they have the comment period from February 4th, which starts today all the way to the 10th. So we'll see. The tomorrow's meeting is more than it's color cycles sound like community. Hey, we wanted to visit. This is what we're working on, and which is good. That's definitely good. We've gotten a lot more response from them than we had from public works. So we're in a good direction, and it's getting to traction. But then it all falls back to the lead enforcement agency, which is LA County. What they did come out of their visit was that LA County, if they continue to prove that they're not doing enforcement or that they're doing a poor job of it, Culver Cycle has the authority to take it away from them. And obviously that would be very costly and they would want to do that, but they have the authority to do so. So tomorrow's meeting is for community members. No one from Public Works or any county departments going to be there, so that way people can speak freely. And then the follow-up meeting where those departments will come in and say, this is what we're going to do different to address the issue. So we'll see.
And one of the things that Public Records actually requested CalRecycle revealed, we finally got a response in December, revealed that the health department, county health department, is the lead enforcement agency for the sites where waste is dumped. But they claim that the agency that's the lead enforcement agency for the haulers that are doing the dumping is whatever agency permits those. So it would be Public Works for all of the contracts that Public Works issues or signs for its areas. But it would also be, say, the City of LA Public Works, who execute contracts with, say, Athens, if Athens is one of the companies that's doing the lead dumping. Anyway, so that's really getting a lot more complicated, but it also, the way I view it is, gives you a lot more tools to, you can start pounding on the City of LA. Well, they're getting pounded on right now for a lot of things, but for City of Hawthorne, or the City of El Segundo, or whoever is executing these contracts where things are being done. So, but it is important, so I'm going to go into that meeting tomorrow, because our community has been affected, not the way that Lake LA and Enac areas are affected, or West Antelope Valley, like, because somebody's literally creating landfill on vacant property. Well, I mean a huge landfill. The millions of tons of waste have been dumped out there. And we have had some of those problems, but I think it's important to go.
When we look at the small amount of dumping that's happened, when it's $3,000 to clean that up, imagine that's millions of dollars on those sites that are on the other side. And who's going to pay for that? How's that going to be addressed?
Yeah, certainly the property owner is just going to stop paying his property taxes because you're hurt and walk away. So, and so enforcement has to happen on the actual haulers.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No, that's about it.
That's the big thing. Thank you for coming to this.
But this ARTC is the Association of Rural Town Councils. And Jose Centano is the president of it, and so we have meetings once a month with them. It's really great.
Some people call it social club, but no, the intent of it is for all the town councils to speak and say what problems we're having, and also what solutions are we finding, so that way somebody else addresses coming up in front of us, but the legal dumping and all the public works and safety and the wildlife work and distract information.
And the meetings are open to the public. I mean, they're all remote now, so any town council member can do probably the day.
And I've run this through my head a million times. So we have the stoplight right cameras, like somebody goes through a red light, takes a picture of them, that car with the license plate gets the ticket. It doesn't matter who's driving, car gets the ticket. I would love to be able to do that with some of these dumpers. Sure. If you've got dumpers out there, because right now you have to identify them. And you have to pick them out of the 6-pack. You have to say, it's this guy. You have to, there's so many things that you have to do. If you see somebody dumping, I think you should just have to take a picture of the truck. Yeah. And obviously, if they're dumping or throwing something out of the back, that'd be great. And send send those pictures in, and whoever owns that truck gets a ticket. Because if it's not you, you know who you loaned your truck to.
Well, that's what you do for speeding.
That's what I'm saying, the red light camera tickets, all that stuff, it's like, so if you could safely take a picture of somebody dumping and just send that in, even on an app, like, there's an app for that, so let's send it in. Like, I don't know why we can't do that. It would stop it so fast if there's now a $1,000 fine that guy gets, or he doesn't re-register his vehicle or whatever. It would stop. It would literally stop.
Yeah, well, what we're tired of hearing is that there's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly.
What we want is, this is what we can do about it. And if we make new rules, we do tools, make new rules, and get it done.
Exactly. Because what happens now is, county, as good as they can been or whatever, trying to help us with certain things, it's like, oh, it's on private property, we can't touch it. So that's where we go, with the Active Legal Government Task Force, we'll go out there and we'll help the homeowners. And it's all volunteer hours, and then it all gets picked up and cleaned up, and the county's like, oh, great, that's awesome. But it's like,
But they need to do more.
they need to absolutely 100% do more.
Consequence. There's no consequence.
Nope.
None.
Zero. And the guy that dumped it is going to dump it again, just further down the road.
Well, it seems to me like when the rules are coming up with it, for the big problems in the Antelope Valley should apply here. If you have waste and you don't dumping it in a non-licensed place, those rules should apply to you, whether it's just a pickup truck full of junk or like what they have in this area, 40 trucks coming up from the LA area that are like licensed professional, you would recognize the names, but I'm not going to say the names, companies just dumping all their stuff from their trash trucks. These aren't just like dumb, tractor trailer, with the thing dumping, which we would dig with a lot.
Well, that's what dumped this concrete over on Upper Road.
Yeah,
They think
exactly.
huge commercial truck.
Yeah, well, this is trash trucks. These
Okay,
are actual trash trucks.
okay, yeah.
It's not waste management, that's what I
Right.
understand, but like, the waste management trucks pick up your truck, your trash is what is going out to these places.
Okay.
So.
Yep. So it absolutely needs to be constant. If you start finding these people, the word's gonna get around real
And
fast.
maybe, come to the meeting where I will hear, because it seems to me like the new regulations, whereas the mini guys.
Until 6:30?
Yeah. I thought there was also an issue, I think they're not going to be there.
So on Wednesday, Alex will give an update on what they're doing. But tomorrow's meeting it's to speak to the community members and let them, in case, you have anything to say on the issue.
Where is tomorrow's meeting?
It's until 6:30.
Did we post that? Yeah, I think I got a brochure and proposed.
Okay,
Even like, you know, speaking of everything. Yes.
okay.
Yeah, so it's on the town council.
Okay.
All right, Deputy Martinez is not on, so we first get that, he showed up.
This year, I really want to talk. Hey, Chuck, could you help figure out, we need the report, the police report or whatever, fill in the blanks report, sheriff's report, on an event that happened, I think it was like January 8th or 9th, a resident in Kenny Country area called emergency services saying, I'm on life support and the power has been cut. And then when they got there, the person was no longer.
So it's possible that the Santa Shake Station did that report, whether they're released or not, I don't know. It's also possible that was of course, it's a medical examiner's case nowadays.
But I'm not looking for the MD report.
Well, that would say what they died. The sheriff's report will say, I had a call that there's a dead body here, I got there and there's a dead body.
No,
So
but
it's-
I thought there was wouldn't there be a log of like, the call being, I'm on life support and I have no power?
I don't know if they would say that in whatever report that Kevin wrote, because he wouldn't have heard that radio call. The deputy writes.
But isn't that what sent him out there? Was that radio?
Yeah, but it would be Santa Cruz Station anyway. You'd have to ask him. I don't even know what the rules are for releasing. incident reports, that's an incident report.
Okay, so tell me, how do you take that event and put it in front of the noses of the Public Utilities Commission? That's what we need. We need an event law that I can take and shove it under the
Yeah,
noses,
so-
like I
well-
said, of the commissioners.
I don't know, so like I said, I think it would probably be more likely with the medical examiner if they did in fact.
There are transcripts, though. You can get transcripts of 911
Yeah,
calls.
and it's all from the Santa Cruz Sheriff's Station, so,
Okay, so
yeah.
did the 911 calls go to Santa Cruz so that that's?
No, that's who handles Canyon Country, Santa
Okay,
Cruz.
so who would we make a request of for the transcript of the call?
I call the captain's office.
In Santa Cruz?
Yeah,
Could your office help us with
and,
that?
and I'm not gonna volunteer to get in that because that's our Santa Cruz office area.
Okay,
And so,
okay, so we can contact them.
yeah,
We need it, because somehow, somebody at the county has to point us in the direction we get.
well, like I said, that's Santa Cruz Sheriff's Station.
Because somehow that has to get to the commission. And I would imagine the county would want the commission to do this. So, okay. Right?
I said that wrong.
Okay.
All right, Lauren, do you, yes.
Okay. I have a few things to say, but I know Don's got a lot of stuff to say. And other people do, so I'll just sit back and then back in that.
Well, everything I have, I sent to you, Jackie, on the timeline. But I find it ironic that they shut my electricity off all these multiple times in January. For my protection, out of fear of a wildfire. First of all, you go down to the community center, and it's basically empty. There's just 2 tables and 2 people sitting there. No supplies. They give you a little bag of beef jerky. They gave me a light bulb that's rechargeable that wasn't charged up.
Yeah.
And then you step outside, and they have a whole pallet of firewood they offer you to take.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
hot wood.
Oh,
Hot wood.
yeah, I remember reading that, but I guess I didn't see a picture. That's it.
I have them on my phone. Yeah, pictures. So I go, and they're even volunteering me. You should go grab the firewood on your way out. It's in the box. Yeah, I'm gonna go up to my little fire burning in the backyard and watch little jammers fly.
Well, let's not forget how the tick fire started.
Yeah. So, but I do want to give real quick a shout out to the 76 station on January 16th. The gas station started running out of the electricity, so 76 was the only one working. And it was about 8:30 at night. And of course, I'm having to fill up twice a day, $40 a day of gas for my generator. So I'll go up there, and there's maybe 10, 15 cars. Well, 2 of the ladies had stepped out and was directing traffic, so it was nice and orderly.
Oh, wow.
And it worked
They were
really, really well.
Now, so what, these are people who would carry their shorts?
They
it wasn't scary, but Jennifer and somebody else.
Jennifer, the manager.
They deserve a shout out because they did an excellent job.
Yeah.
And there were jerks in that line.
Oh,
They tried to cut the line, they tried to like, cut that line.
And so these were people coming off the freeway, Arco was out of power, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So these weren't customers trying to fill up for their generator, they were trying to.
All of the mix,
Probably a mix of both, but I think the ones that were trying to cut line were probably either, I don't know. But it's just kind of interesting because they were having nothing to do with it. They were like, yeah, go to the back of the line like everybody else. And it was awesome.
Okay, let me just point out, okay, this is one of the frustrations. And we'll get into the actual analysis in a minute. But during the PSPS events, they did not cut bootlegger segment 1, which is why 76 still had power.
Oh.
When they cut pick segment 1 and shovel segment 1, which is why the shovel didn't have power. Now, I'll talk about the wind analysis in a minute. There was no basis to cut any segment 1s on any circuits. And the fact that they kept bootlegger open, then it's all based on wind data that's collected, basically the Arco station. That's where the weather station is. and it never exceeded any levels. So there's no segment that should have been cut anywhere on any surface. So all of those gas stations should have been served. So I didn't, you know, I'm gonna make a note here about, if anybody else has comments to make about PSPS, any horrible events that, you know, that we will be making comments on they had two separate, distinct and independent PSPS events in January. According to Edison, one of them started basically January 8th, although they say it started January 3rd, because that's when we did the first notices. Second one was basically January 20th to the 27th. Right. And there were some people who had lost power for a total of like many days.
High school was out.
I lost almost 2, well, we got input from the school district, got almost 2 weeks of school that was lost.
And they were coming back from 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
And it was, I saw Mr. Cooper, I didn't want to think about it, but he's actually did it, which was that if the school had, you know, the power of one of the days they had that kids went back.
Yeah.
And so, but they didn't have phones, they couldn't call, there was no way, the parents were concerned, right, so it wasn't expired or some emergency, there was no way to notify the school, or the school to notify them which kids because we don't have.
And so that's all part of, you know, it's just a freaking train, the way Edison did these PSPS events. And I'm going to point out, we are in our 7th year of PSPS. 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So, you know, they should have gotten it right by now.
Well, right, and all those countries.
Well, yeah,
So
what
it was
about
to be a thing of last resort, and instead, it's even increased, which I can't understand.
And they never give you a straight answer, because I went into that, and I was talking to the guy, and I go, what is your criteria? What is your exact criteria, and where can I look to see where we stand currently? Oh, we have wind speed, vegetation moisture, and humidity. Okay, what are they? Oh, they're numbers. And I get pushed. No, really, you don't realize, sir, that we have measurements on mountains that show 80 miles an hour. That's part of it. I go, where show me the measurements, show me the numbers.
Yeah, well, and that, my thing is like, okay, so if the mountain's the problem, then underground the mountain. So like, then it can be 80 miles all day long, here, so like, it's underground. I'm not saying it's underground everything, although I think they should, but if that's really the problem, is these little gaps that they have, which is like, okay, you know, this, you know, Hauser Peak, that's a problem, or whatever, great, underground. So that it's.
or sectionalize it. They're supposed to, they're supposed to put in a switch, so that when the wind gets really high in Hauser Mountain, they switch this button, and there's no power to Hauser Mountain, but it doesn't affect people down below in the valley where winds are 15 miles an hour.
But
that is, they're required, that requirement existed in 2019. 7 years, and we have pointed this out to them, sectionalizing Hauser Mountain, sectionalizing Crown Meadows, sectionalizing all of these places, and they have never done it.
And their website is so far behind and so lacking. I spent my career in the post office. They make the post office a position.
That's so much what that is.
They'll tell me, well, it's wind speed. And I go, wait a minute, I got the weather app.
Yeah, I have a weather station at my house, and it never,
It shows, you know, 29 miles an hour.
they told me when I was there that there was concern about trees falling into the lights, which I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. One, we're happy, like, there's not, like, this dense forest does not exist, in the area you're turning off, like, the areas you're turning off particularly. But then on top of that, that sounds like they have to do vegetation. Like, they have not, like, the real fear is, we didn't do what we're supposed to do, so that there wouldn't be something to fall. And so, I don't know. And oddly enough, I did have them come out and do, clearance around my poles, 2 days ago.
Well, the thing is, they're getting out cheap because you go to the community center, there's nothing there. They offer me a coupon for 7-Eleven for ice that's outdated.
Yeah, that's great.
And,
7-Eleven closed?
probably one, there's a Shell station.
Yes, 7-Eleven is at the Shell.
But, they need to start putting coupons for, you know, the local restaurants
Well, if they have power, well, let's do this second.
Yeah, they're
Well,
open.
we need to also find out, how much was lost at the active market.
Yes.
Yep. And, because Edison's supposed to reimburse them for those things. So, if anybody has contacts to those places, make sure, two things, that they know that Edison is supposed to reimburse them, they fill out the form, and that if Edison pushes back, because they did that first year, whatever that, let us know, because we will, I have prepared, we are going full throttle Rambo on Edison.
First one.
Exactly, I got the big, okay, whatever, yeah. But, so we need to hear from residents and business owners. Like, I want to hear about the traffic, we need to hear about if the folks down at Acton Market or at Acton Market,
Both the market.
I'm sure they were, so, and if Edison is pushing back, let us send, when the guys send us an email saying, this is what they said. For example, I didn't know that they had, that they were afraid of trees falling, because that's the kind of information we need.
That is an engineer told me that, is that.
Did you write that in your?
Right.
Yeah, please do, when you had the conversation, where it was, that's.
So the other thing with this is that, it was the first event. When did the rain happen? There's so many events in Paris, we had like literally rain the day before.
Oh, it was raining that morning, there was an expected shut-off notice on shovel, and I'm sitting here emailing on behalf of the town council, asking, it's raining, because there was rain falling on my car. It's like, how about that?
One of my emails from them said, after they determined that the winds finally came down, they were gonna power us back up.
Yeah.
They needed 8 hours to check the line. And if it gets dark, we can't do it.
I was thinking,
We gotta check for downed trees.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood, they changed the wires 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They had a crew come out last summer, contractors, and
Yes.
with any trees that were around the lines, they trimmed them all. There's no reason for us, where I live, to be shut down at all anymore.
Do you know what circuit you're on? Bootlegger?
I think it's bootlegger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to send an email to town council, I'll redact it, with your name and everything, but that they came out, they cleared the vegetation last summer, and that there shouldn't be any, that, trees don't grow in 4 months, especially when there's no rain. So that we can put that in, because Edison has the ear of the commission, right?
Yeah.
The commission can stop all of this. But Edison blows smoke and tells the commission a lot of fairy tales. And so, we have not been active in this space since 2022, because 23 and 24 we had rain and no minimal PSPS. But we're going all in on this because it's Armageddon, yeah. So let me just talk about, if I may, thresholds, okay? So Edison has told the Public Utilities Commission and also the Wildfire Management Department, I can't remember what it's called, that they make power shut-off decisions based on 2 criteria, and it's an and. Both of the criteria have to be met for the shut-off to happen. The first criteria is something called the fire potential index. So they cut our power even though the wind speed thresholds are not exceeded, okay? And I'll talk about the wind speed thresholds in a minute. Now, the current wind speed thresholds for our community, I believe are 38 mile an hour sustained wind speeds and 55 mile an hour gusts. So those are the thresholds. So they're not supposed to cut power if FBI is 12, even when those winds are achieved. They are also not supposed to cut power if the FBI is 13 or more, but those wind speeds are not achieved. Okay. Now, this town council was participated in those proceedings for making up the guidelines that they're using for these thresholds. And at the time, we propounded discovery on Edison to find out. We wanted the numbers that go into their FBI calculations. And then the discovery response came back saying, well, we can't give you those numbers because what we do is we estimate them ahead of time. Now, the numbers are things like dryness of fuel, dew point depression, which is The dew point depression is just the difference between the actual temperature and the dew point temperature. So it's a reasonably easy calculate number. They're supposed to take vegetation samples and measure the dryness every 2 weeks. So, I mean, all of the numbers going into the FBI calculation are supposed to be real. So we can reproduce them. And they have said we can't provide them, and even if we could, we wouldn't give them to you because we're using proprietary software. And I'm like, this is not a software issue. This is a calculation based on numbers that you are supposed to have.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is one of the really big issues I'm saying, because the PSP is supposed to have reports that they did for October, November, and December. All of them show, they report the FBI and they report the wind speeds that were cut in this community. And every one of them shows that the wind speed thresholds do not exceed. So they reported to the PUC that they're not following their own protocols. But since, we had a lot of things going on with that, so we didn't really get involved in the reports. But we are stepping in now. So that's one thing. Then I also want people to be aware that I spent the last week and a half, basically. There are 30 weather towers, weather stations, right? And they measure a number of things, including wind gust, wind speed, relative humidity, temperature, and dew point temperature. Those are the 5 I'm focusing on, because those inform the FBI. Another element of the FBI has wind speed to do with it. It has the wind speed factor. You can still calculate it based on the wind speed. So, and I looked at, so I had to break down each weather station by the specific segment of each circuit. So the bootlegger circuit has 9 segments. Shovel has, I think, 5 segments. Pick has like 5 or 6 segments. So matching the wind speed to the segment, and then looking to see, because they cut on bootlegger, they cut some places.
They got places that exist.
Yeah, well, they say that. So there's nothing. So they, so you have to look at when they cut power on which part of the which segment of which circuit based on that weather station. But I finished that analysis, and this is what I had for the shuttle circuit. There were 4 power de-energization events in January. I'm sorry, 4 segments, January 8th, cut at different times, but only there was one reading on the boiling point on January 8th that exceeded the wind speed threshold. The boiling point is actually on Google Earth, and they don't have a weather set system, a weather measure, weather station, sorry, in Shannon Valley or in that area. They have one up Hauser Mountain. Hauser Mountain didn't even exceed that. So there was no, see, boiling point is way, so they should not have cut power. There was nothing on any shuttle circuit in any part of Akron that exceeded anywhere in any of the stations. So that's the showing. Then on the 26th, the same is true. They cut power, the 20th, they cut power at all different times too. Same deal, never exceeded any of the thresholds, ever. On the bootlegger circuit, for all of the power de-energizations from January 20 to the 26th, they never exceeded any of the thresholds, not one. So, and then on the power shutoffs on January 8th through the 16th, there was one wind event was exceeded, but it was on January 10th, 2030, 2 days after they already cut power.
When you say an event, are you talking about
A reading.
one single read?
One reading, yes, one reading. Okay, yes. But I mean, that's enough for them to cut power. The problem is that a reading happened 2 days after they cut power.
Yeah.
So that's for all the bootlegger. For now, the bootlegger on the shutoffs for January 20 through the 26th, not one was exceeded any.
Do we know, have you done in all their calibration of these weather stations?
No, and I don't want to go there because, I want to give them something to hide them. It's like, oh, well, it wasn't calibrated properly. Well, and then they'll say, to the commission, it would take us a long time to go in and check the calibration of every 6 months. And then on the pick, I just want everybody to know, the pick on the 20th, okay, They cut power on all parts of the PIC, all right? The wind was never exceeded anywhere on the PIC except for a Red Rover, which is segment 2. But even then, they, on one day, they cut power. They cut power on the 8th, and the exceedance didn't happen until late in the afternoon on the 9th. So when they cut power, there was no exceedance again. So, you know, this is the kind of data you really have to show of the utility station. Now, the other thing that's really important is I did an analysis. They also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 weather stations on their actual transmission lines, okay? Now, their transmission lines, where they have them, are not anywhere near distribution circuits that serve people, okay? So they have one at Julian. It's kind of like halfway between where folks live on Briggs Road and Soledad Canyon. They've got Hauser Mountain, I think, telecommunications area, like Hauser Mountain there, so it's not a transmission station, but it's still involved. And they have one way out there near the Wolf Sanctuary. They have one on the transmission line that's on the west side of the Angeles Forest Highway and on the east side of the Angeles Forest Highway, but not near where anybody lives, okay? And so this is something that I'm very concerned about. I looked at the wind conditions there on the January 8th on the transmission lines. The wind speeds exceeded 67.8 miles an hour out there at Angeles Forest Highway. The other one was 60.2 with the other one. And then on Julian's Ridge down there, Briggs, it was 59.1. Now, during the even more shocking, the 20th, 26th event, wind speeds got up to 75.6.
And how many of those are visualized?
I didn't standardize any of it. So let me just point out that these transmission lines have no covered conductor.
Yeah.
So they are far more susceptible to shorts by wind-blown debris, tarps, when between SDGE and SCE, San Diego Gas Company and SCE, they spun such a tale for the Public Utilities Commission, going on and on about wind-borne debris. That's the real concern, right? That's why we had to, do all this cutting the power until we got a covered conductor.
Yeah, same thing.
But if you look, we have, I think it's like 9 transmission lines north of Vincent and another 9 or 10 south of Vincent, right? None of them have covered conductor. Many of them are about the same height as our distribution lines. They were placed under the Tri-Tech project, but not all of them. So they are just as susceptible, if not more susceptible to tarps and causing shorts because they don't have covered conductor, right? And with the transmission line, unlike distribution line, you don't actually have to make contact with the conductor here. You just have to get near it because it's just a tap, right? Because it's so hot. Yeah. That's not true with distribution. You really do contact. So at any rate, now another thing is that we finally got the report on the Saddle Ridge fire that was in 2019. According to the report, it was, and the PUC report, it was resulting from the Edison 220 kV line in Sylmar. What happened was a part that keeps the insulators in place, which insulators are important to keep the conductor separated. It failed. It was a part that was supposed to have lasted 100 years. The line was built in 1970. All right. And I bring this up because most of the transmission facilities in our community were built in the 60s. Okay? So, because I've seen the right-of-way documents that were executed to get that. So, at any rate, so there's something called, the PUC has something called General Order 95, and it establishes all the regulations that the utilities have to comply with when they build structural regulations, when they build facilities. So this tower with the Saddle Ridge was built, like I said, in 1970. According to General Order 95, it was built to withstand 8 psi wind pressure, which is the Public Utilities Commission teams that of 500 area. It's 8 psi is equivalent to the math to 55 mile-an-hour winds. All right, that's in the high wind area. So I'm concerned that our own towers, older than that, might not even have been built for that 8 psi standard. And you're looking at wind speeds of nearly 80 miles an hour. And so, and when those go, guess where the fire's going to be? in our town.
And just live-
All of these homes are on the east end of town, and all that wind is just like towards the west, so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the PGE fire, I think the Paradise Fire started because of the transmission line, not the distribution line. That's what the major problem was, not the distribution, the transmission.
And the
So
Dixie
now you
fire, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I believe there's a lot of anecdotal evidence out there about the Eden fire. And I've done a lot of research on that, about the wind speeds for that area. I shared that with Chuck the other day. But, all the heat is gone because of transmission line, potentially transmission power line. That's what the video evidence shows. Edison is still insisting that they didn't have any circuit concerns, or at least that's what I heard as of last week. But our community, this is maybe, it's a PSPS event for cutting, whether you cut it on distribution or transmission. So our community is suffering because we're getting a power cut for no reason. That's what these numbers show. And then also our discovery on the FBI that was, and we need like 30 FBIs, right? For every power shut off on every single segment, the FBI is going to be different, right? Because the winds are different, the wind speeds are different.
It should be.
There's the
Exactly.
Exactly. So, and just,
It's just one FBI, we talked about this, how often are they supposed to be posting dedication?
every 2 weeks, that's what I think, why
Have you seen anybody ever collect any vegetation anywhere enacted? I've been asleep. And I'm not saying they're not, I'm just saying it's really weird that, we can have one people here. I've never been like, I've never seen one post, so there's a weird band they're collecting vegetation off the hillside. I mean, it's kind of weird, like, that's the kind of stuff everybody works for.
Well, one thing you may look also compared to, because I noticed that, we had electricity and then, when you shut it off, maybe 2-3 hours after the Libya fire started. And then the same thing in the second one, was they shut it off, even though the wind speed was less than what it was prior, because each fire tore off.
Did anybody, have they said what started Libya fire? I've not heard.
No. I don't think there are any transmission lines in that area.
No,
There is one going right over Thousand Trails, but.
But the one thing they also have to do, if we brought it up earlier, it's so true, is if they can see with all their weather stations that the wind speed is dropping and their numbers are, their criteria is dropping, send your, and there's no fire in around Acton for 50 miles, send your crews out there before you dictate that, okay, we're gonna end at PSP.
Well, they say they do that, that's why there's
Yeah,
delay.
but I don't like that.
I thought the weird thing with that though was the fact that they said, hey, we're sure, we need light, we're not gonna do it.
Right.
And they, at least 2 of the incidents, they turned on like 1 or 2 of those.
Yes, that's when they turn the power back on at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had it on, I think, 1, and then I think 1 was like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Which, all of a sudden, all lights are in the house. You're
But
like,
what about the one where it came on, or the same circuit, came on at like 1 in the
Yeah,
morning,
and
they
then went
didn't
on.
have any idea it'd come back on.
Yeah.
And then you know what it's
Message, and then 2 hours later, you got a message that they didn't turn it
Yeah.
on.
300 pounds. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, and they shouldn't have cut it in the first place.
yeah, but more so that, part of the whole criteria of notification of any might have the power, which, by the way, that's a whole other question.
Yeah, I'm not even getting, I'll step into that.
Yeah, I sat there and documented every time we got a notice, and then when the power got cut off, or didn't get cut off, and then, so it was like, we did like, it's gonna be, we're probably gonna have to cut the next 4 hours. 4 hours will be by 6 hours,
Right.
7 hours will by 8 hours, but turns it off. Like, well, I never got another notice tape was for 4 hours, so I assumed we cleared the 4 hour window, I didn't get another notice for the clear.
Oh, no.
You know,
They do tag you down there that you will still be subject
Sure.
to the whole.
Sure. What I'm saying is then don't put in the 4 hours.
Don't put the 4 hours.
Or, again, every 4 hours.
Which is, that's what they're required to do.
Yes, that's what
That's
the
guidelines.
Yeah, because at that point, so I'll give you like another thing is like, right after people talking, I was like, hey, I had people calling me or texting me and saying, hey, I'm at work, should I come home because I'm not gonna, like, should I leave work because if they cut the power, I don't lose my food, I don't get my dinner.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'll tell you when my power goes out. And then, like, I work from home, so I'm home. But like that kind of stuff is crazy too, because the whole point of it was to try to mitigate that impact on people where you're like, well, okay, I gotta make a decision. Instead, hold on.
Yeah, when I say that, no one's turning on the porch light.
Yes,
And
you
I was
can tell.
like filling up the horse's water. And then when I saw the porch light go off, I shut the water off.
Is it possible to understand the notifications that they gave to us?
Yeah.
Because they were so irregular, you didn't know, should I be planning for a shut off?
Yes.
Should my little great granddaughter lives at my home, she's 14 months old. Should we go and take her over to her grandpa's house? You couldn't plan a thing. You started dinner and then everything was turned off. So it was impossible. It was impossible to live inactive for the 3 weeks that they shut us off. And each week, I don't know about anybody else, but I was shut off for 2 or 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
It never was 1 day or 24 hours. It was always 2, 3 days.
And now you know that there was no reason for it.
Yeah, it was all back to the age of 25.
Yeah. I'll say this, if it was, I think I wouldn't be as complaining, because the bottom line is you expect it, that's what it is, like,
Yeah.
if I sell my whole house to just not have power and just live like that, that's fine, you just figure out a way, but I'm like, hey,
But you could have got firewood from the.
I could've got firewood.
I can't take the fire.
I can't even.
I take a picture of it.
Did you ask me if they had any sparklers?
And the blankets. Did you take a blanket?
Oh,
Yeah.
the dishes,
Yeah, I've got another problem. I live right across the street from the Edison plant. So on my side, they own 60 acres of front. I was at Public Works last year, dealing with regional planning. And I brought up about Edison 60 acres, the brush is this high, it's still that way.
Oh, my God.
So she says, well, there's a fire captain right across the way, top of the hill.
oh,
So I brought it up, and he says, the fire captain told me they cannot force a company or a corporation to clear brush off their property.
Oh.
Well, they can
So I got these
force.
transmission lines that go right over it, and if something was a spark, they'd start a fire, and everybody in our neighborhood burned down.
I had a resident contact me about
We got
that
to,
same.
the new county brush abatement ordinance we gotta go through, we gotta all clean everything, but Edison doesn't have it.
Okay, yeah, did you send that? Okay. Okay, so we have asked Edison to attend a community meeting, not necessarily for the town council. We will make it, it has to be in the evening, but we asked them for a couple of days, days that they can do it, and we try to find a place for it. So I'm really hoping that and we asked for it before February 15th. So these people call me, I got a call, and I talked to Michelle, and she's like, I don't know if we can make it 15th. And I'm like, well, okay, but we really need it soon, like not May or April. And she said she would do what she could. And I also got a phone call from Dave Ford, who was community liaison. He's the head of like community outreach and everything. I impressed on him. It was important. He goes, we're doing our best. I'm like, it's really hard. And I've given them some inkling. I gave when I talked to Michelle, they called me on Sunday. I can't remember what they did. It's Friday. But I said, this is what the numbers are showing, that there was no basis for it. She goes, well, wind speed is just one thing. I'm like, no, wind speed is anything, and it has to be, it's two things, and they both have to, that's what you told the Public Utilities Commission. So I'm honest with them. But because they want to build trust, and they want to do these things, which I'm, okay, this is great, but, it starts with talking to the community, not me on the phone, right? And so I'm hoping all of you will come and get all your neighbors to come when we, we'll put it out to social media, we'll let me know, and everybody, we'll post it on our website, so we'll look at it when that meeting happens, but hopefully it'll be very soon. Another thing that we need to talk about is Edison is required to submit a post-event report after each PSPS event ends. And it's supposed to be done, I think, within like 20 days of the end of the event. So, when they ended the first one, that ended, I think, on January 12th or 13th or whatever it was, they submitted a letter to the Safety Enforcement Division of the Public Utilities Commission, asking for an extension to the deadline where it was due February 3rd, and they asked to be able to submit it on April 3rd. So, and they served all of the parties in the proceeding, including us, which is the council party. And as soon as I saw that, I think I contacted you, and I said, this is too long, we can't wait. So we agreed to write an email, as we're parties in that proceeding, to SED saying we oppose the 2-month extension. Granted, maybe some may need a little bit of extra time, so we were okay with maybe March 3rd, but not April 3rd, or March 1st.
Yeah, we're down to the cooperative.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to say everything they did. Well, we're doing this separate.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to get for our comments on it, but also when we have a meeting with them. And so it came out on Friday, apparently the SED granted the extension to Edison, but only to March 3rd. So, which is great. But then it came down on Friday, Edison asked for an extension for the post-event report that's now due February 10th for the event that ended like the 27th of January. Rochelle asked me on Monday if the town council is going to, oppose that, and I'm like, I don't know. You're talking to me as a resident. You are not talking to me as a member of the town council. But it's on the agenda for tonight, so I want to know what people think about it. Okay. And when would you want to give them the time, Phil?
December 2024.
Okay.
I think the same thing. I think it's the same amount of time that they got granted. I would just say, okay, that's what I think is reasonable. If you sorry, so that's reasonable for that. There's no reason why they figure it out. We need to ask them to not to it.
By the way, the city of Woodland Hills agreed with us.
I want to make sure. No,
Well, the city of Fort right now. They're also party to, they agreed with us. They said we agreed with everything. And the commission, yeah, there was, it's good when that happens.
And so one last thing, let me just, at the end of all of that, I know I've made some petty, but through all of January, all these turnouts, we had no heat. And we're none of us are 18 anymore. We had firewood. People have breathing problems, oxygen tanks, and you're walking around like 18, 23, and it's just really freezing.
Well,
it's just not healthy.
Especially because
pneumonia, flu season.
Well, especially because it was very cold. Like,
It was very cold.
I think at least a couple nights with like the wind chill outside.
Yes, it was down in the 20s at night. That's just cool. It's cool.
I had my mother visiting over there. She was here for a month. There was only 1 week that we did not have shut off. She's 84 years old. Oh, yeah. See, that's that's just man, I guess you want to go home. There's just a couple of those stories with the data that shows it was completely unnecessary. Now, June, you said, some place where we're doing some backup energy. Yes. And so we said, okay. We did. So we picked a bunch of places, and every place we said was no. How about the schools? How about the fire station? How about, and they kept saying no. So then they finally came down and said, well, we'll do 3 businesses. Now, if you expect us to pick
when it's just
3 businesses in this community, we can't do that. I mean, oh my gosh. And so it's just ridiculous. Oh, we asked for the community center?
Yeah.
No. It was like, we asked for
reasonable, like the school too. I think even we talked about it. Was like
that school.
Well, the school had a myriad of levels. One, it served the schools open, so they can close the schools. 2, if there was it wasn't a community emergency or something like that, gave at least a place to do that after.
And also, actually, that offer extended through COVID, because by then, the school district is serving meals to this whole community during COVID. And so we said we need it there so that their facilities will stay up. And they still said no. So that's another thing, you talked about the city center, you're pretty upset about this, yes, I'd like to read this, but I think we should, see, this letter is to Edison, but maybe we should, okay, we need help from the supervisor's office to step in hard to act at Edison on this on behalf of Acton. Not just the shut-offs, but these damn transmission lines too, right, which are scaring the dickens out of me. I wasn't too worried about it with the Sound Ridge fire, okay, but with the possibility of the heat fire burning the entire community, basically, that's us. That will be us.
Well, it doesn't make zero sense in light of the impetus for why they're turning off the rest. This is like no different than, this is, to me, it's going to sound different, but I would keep saying that. No different than putting the bets in. It's not going to do anything for Acton or go somewhere else. So, hey, if you want power in LA proper, great, we'll leave your power. Those that act on, keep that.
Yeah.
Even though the risk is still there. Because
the transmission lines have no cover conductor.
But I mean, this is what we go back to when we talked about the initial thing was, why if you turn this on, it should all be on. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's logically inconsistent. And at that time, we had a lot of upgraded stuff. So, like, all the more reason. You upgraded this, because you said this is a risk, but you didn't do that. That makes no sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, except for, I know I didn't. Could you imagine turning off on a lake for 3, 4, 5 days, 3 weeks out of the year?
Well, if it saves Acton,
No, I understand that. I'm saying, like,
if it would have saved LDD, hell yeah.
Yes. And I'm saying, can you imagine how the people, you think, I mean, we're all pretty well behaved. There was no looting and craziness going on. You turn off LA for 3 weeks?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe right.
Excuse me for 1 second, I don't mean to be rude. I'll be right back. I'm up. I hear you ate at my house.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're done.
As, some people have, generators. It's reasonable, I think, that, Edison is, will, provide some backup generator. One of the, gas station around, so we can fill up the stuff, and the city house as well. I have an AT&T tower on my property, and they have backup batteries and generators with 700 gallons of diesel there, and they come every day to fill it up. Below 80%, they must fill it up every day during this power shutdown. They can do it. I think Edison can do it at least for the community here. That would be at least one gas station that we could fill up the generators. And you're right, it's expensive. And that's 3 generators, and it's and the gap.
Well, the difficulty in that is which gas station.
Well,
That's what it asked us today. Which one?
I don't care. One.
Well, it all
They get one
depends.
thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, my thing is like, like at that point, it's like, Edison, to me, but my only pushback on folks on that is like, they shouldn't have turned it off. So it's like, I'm like giving out, like, oh, we'll just, you'll be fine if we can power a gas station, be able to do that. It's like, no, it shouldn't have been off for 90% of the day.
People can comment that we did charge from one of the connections there of their electronics, What is it? They need to give some support to the community when they're doing something.
Well, that's a great point. So my neighbor, obviously, we didn't have power, and their generator was working, and they had horses. And so she was, so I said, hey, you're out of water, I need like a lot of water.
Yes.
And they were like, well, you can have, you take 2 to 5 gallon thing. That's not even gonna cover like 1 horse for the day. I need more water. And they're like, well, we can't, we don't have enough. It's like, well, that's not, like, it's my problem, yes, but it should be your problem.
Well, that's like, California,
You put that in
bringing water trucks out,
Yeah.
and that water trucks go to.
Yes.
She said she was gonna tape, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right, they have to provide some services to the community.
Yep.
With every house.
Yeah. They do it on the cheap, just so they can check a box.
Right. Well, and if you go down to the community center, they take your name and then.
Oh, yeah, they put it in the computer.
And it's a double-edged sword because they do that, and like, they were showing that, hey, look, we did it, people help. That's
That's what they're doing.
Yes, that's what that's 100% of it is. It's like it's not just checking a box, it's like, oh, look, we're helping. It's like,
And the Public Utilities Commission is satisfied.
yeah, they're like, oh, wow, look at, they do those, you know, blankets and water, it's like, yeah, but it's not enough, I'm gonna get those things.
And then they said, you can come down here and get warmed up and charge your phone.
Yes.
I can sit in my car and charge my phone. It can be warmer than I am sitting down there on the floor. Thank you.
You don't have to break your name and tell them where you.
It was ridiculous.
Well, and nobody knew they were there. There was no sign saying SC.
Well, and then there's nothing.
You had to know someone had gone there.
The last time they did the shut off, they were closed, but you could go, I went, and there was a police officer there telling people to go to Uncle Dawson.
That is something, did anyone write that to the town council?
I did that, but then,
I asked him about
But
that.
I need to have that in an email to town council.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had a security guard there.
More than one experience, great too.
Yeah, last year they didn't access the Papadosing, but this year they're only doing alternate.
Yeah.
Papadosing or Akron. So I asked Chris Vidal, how do you get that information? I don't think to get it. And he said that he's close to, he's on the list with the EDSA, and they notify me days ahead which center gets the,
No, we don't get that.
right. So that's what I found.
I didn't know they were alternating.
This year, but last year it was two separate.
Which is also ridiculous too, that's a whole other thing, it's like saying like, hey, I'll need to bring down the fire department to pass, like,
Oh,
great, like, that's not where the problem is, it's like, the problem is everywhere, they're creating the problem in all these places.
And the security guard was there to protect the porta potty.
Oh, good.
I asked her why she was there.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
yeah, porta potty?
yeah, there was a porta potty
Yeah,
there. Because the building was locked
Oh, I
because
see.
it didn't have, because we were supposed to go to Aquadulce to get our
That's right.
fire.
So where was that porta potty? Is it,
The bathroom is closed.
Nobody had picked it up yet,
oh,
but it was there so that you could go if you didn't have water to flush your
Fire
toilet.
department.
I'm like in the car and drive 20 minutes.
That's super convenient.
Yeah,
I had to go potty, let me get the car.
Yeah, but so nobody's in there when I get there.
Yeah.
Well, even when they put the water out, they only put out 2 or 3 at a
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like you got a whole wall to pick from, you can take 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 bottles with you. If they got 3 or 4 out, so you can only grab 1 or 2.
Yeah, but they tell you your supplies is low. When I went there,
Yeah,
second
but
day, they
that's,
said your
but
supplies is low.
and that's the problem, is that if they know how many residents that they serve in the town, they know that this is a town that's got other things besides people, like maybe animals, all sorts of stuff, and you probably, you know, do some metrics on how many are on a well. It's inexcusable that if you're going to do that, like, if they're gonna really help, then you not have 4 bottles of water for the town and say, well, we got 4 bottles.
Yep.
And once we're out, we're done.
Well, they told me 2 things. They said, one, the guy goes, the engineer goes, well, if I were you, I'd invest in the plug-in so you can generate into your well.
Yes.
Because this is going to happen again.
Did you ask what, did you ask what you're supposed to do after 2020 again?
invest in a,
Yeah,
Right.
and so,
but you know, some people's wells are pretty far from their house, so the generator would be
Yeah.
out there.
Right.
You got to sit there and babysit it.
Yeah.
Because generators start fires, the thief fire in Tehachapi was started by a generator.
We have
It's a tumbleweed,
You know how much-
cast exhaust.
you know, there's carbon dioxide within the air with all the generators. I know by my house, it was bad enough.
I got 2 blankets because I whined about my great-granddaughter being cold.
Well,
Oh, here. I said, well, why don't you say that to somebody else?
yeah, it's,
So, June, could you send an email to the town
Yeah.
council saying that they said they're alternating between Acton and Dulce and that they are low, supplies are
How
low?
did they show you on the table?
Because you
All we have.
Okay, yeah, could you write all that in an email? Okay, because I need to, that needs to be part of the
And
comments.
then they said, how about firewood? Do you fire? I said, not that all the fire's going on, I don't think I was like, the firewood, and then you're gonna pay me.
Yeah,
That's what I said. And they offered me the firewood. Oh, they said they didn't think about it.
yeah, there's some honest smart.
Like, they didn't think
They didn't
about
think about it.
Maybe the plan was to burn in your fireplace, but you're not allowed to put fireplaces in.
Yeah, it's built to have the electricity. Yes.
No, we don't have a. Yes. You need to announce that you're not having anything. So.
All right, so is there anything you need to?
Oh, well, yes. Do we want to reach out to Supervisor Bartlett? Do we want to reach out to City Secretary? Do we want to reach out to the school district who lost 2 weeks of school license
I think that, my opinion,
to help us with this?
yes, and I think the frame it as, you know, words that I'm sure especially Santa Rita, and the school district, about how this is affected everything.
Yeah, they think how much.
And my, yeah, but I say, it's probably more a discussion of what should be, but I think too, like, I think we're mentioning some, if we can get, if they're that upset about it, having them ride with us could be useful, especially with trying to look at some other entities. And I think maybe Sorum, Vigorous and Lash too, I think Sorum's being on the thing, because there's a lot more people in the Santa Rita than here, and if they're.
And the community was very concerned, and they showed up for the meeting with the mayor, Bill Miranda, one with Patrick. And then they were very fast. They had the CPUP, like on Thursday, to have a meeting ready with them. I thought, wow, that was really quick.
Make a big noise.
Yeah.
Because Edison is going to whitewash this thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think and also should maybe more correct that the school system gets money for the federal.
Yeah, for every day that they're
every day that they're. So every day that they're not there because of PSPS, they should pay the school district what they would have got that. You got to make this as expensive as they can because you got to get it out of the hands of the lawyers and put it in the hands of the accountants because the accountants won't let this happen.
Well, the other problem is when we tried to get the school district to join us in this, they wouldn't do it. Lynn David was in charge, and when it was a real problem because when Edison, we raised this, Edison told the Public Utilities Commission, we were saying because they lost 20 days of school in 2019 and again in 2020. Edison told the Public Utilities Commission that they had communication from the active school district and that there was no problems during the PSPS. Now, I know for a fact, because I was involved in the PTA, my son was going to school there and all of that, so I knew it was a huge problem. So I followed up and learned that, yes, that is what Lynn David told Edison when they asked about, and this was during COVID when things was really horrible, right? So, she is no longer there at the school district, which is good. And so I think they're having a meeting this week or coming up the next week because they're talking about the big vote on how they're changing it. They're changing the district. So I think I would like to ask that we approach the school district and ask for support, either a joint letter to the commission, in addition to our comments, maybe a joint letter to the commission with the city, Santa Maria, and school district about so many untoward things happen. And we'll refer to our comment because if we get that letter done soon, we will refer to our concerns will be articulated in our comment letter going out later. So I don't know. Does that require a motion? What do you want? Are you making a motion?
I think we should, but it is going to like some perpetual PSPS, like open-ended motion for all the PSPs. Yeah, I think
okay, so I'll take this out, but I'm hoping that we collaborate with the school district, the city of Santa Clarita, and the board of supervisors on communicating to the Public Utilities Commission our concerns with the most recent, with the PSPS events from 2024 and 2025.
Could we include that at the level? Yeah, we still get
Okay, all right, well, okay. Well, that's our motion, but I'll take a friendly amendment to invite those who don't council as well we do. Right. Okay, so City Santa Clarita, AAP, USD, Aqua Dulce Town Council, ATC on letter to CPC, and also include the board, supervisor of our office.
Did, look like, yeah,
Well,
down there.
yeah, well, this is step,
Oh, this is separate, okay.
I don't know, I don't,
My thought was just be there more people that,
but when they, I mean, we've done it, you know, multi-group letters, we collaborated on a letter. I don't know if the legislature, can they join on the letter with us? I've never heard of something like that, but.
I don't know, but it doesn't have to ask, what's the worst thing, is they don't have to do that, but at least they know that all the.
Yeah, because I guess we're asking Supervisor Barber, so, yeah, that's.
So my thing is just that they need to understand the weight, so maybe they can propose some changes. Like, there's things they can do, not in the current framework as it plays out, and like, obviously not like people run, but what if they, what if somebody's like, hey, the PUC's not doing their job, so we need to look at how that's formed, like, we're gonna put a bill for it. I don't know, that's like really, I can see.
Even if we a Supervisor Barber's office and the other two are just CC'd on the letter, so you know. And ask them to communicate with us.
Yeah, that's good. Right.
So maybe it's two different motions. No?
I think it's more than the
Okay. So move that we collaborate with Santa Clarita, AAP, USD, Aqua Town Council, and reach out to electeds to communicate to the Public Utilities Commission regarding absence and appropriate PSPS activities.
Great. We got a vote, we have a second. Any other discussion?
If you want to add, you said more park would stand with us.
Well, they, City of Moore Park looks out for City of Moore Park's interests, and I don't know what their situation is. They agreed with us that Edison shouldn't have 2 months to write the report. Yeah. Nothing, no contact that we have had so far.
All right, any other discussion? No. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay. Next up, our travel utilities. Yes.
I know we're going to throw it to Ruthie, but I just want to say something real quick. There was a significant and devastating event at the Moss Line Invest facility, which really revealed the numerous and significant deficiencies that are intrinsically inherent in best design, control, and suppression systems. I know there's a report on that, but I first want to talk about the outcome of the Public Utilities Commission rulemaking proceeding that the town council was part of. The final rule was adopted last week by the Public Utilities Commission, and I want to say that originally they were planning on changing their rules to allow authorized best development virtually everywhere with minimal oversight and review. And that was one of the main reasons why participating in this proceeding. We fought very hard against it. There was only 2 other parties that really even touched on the subject, and no party went into the level of detail that we went into. And we pointed out that rulemaking would have to go through extensive CEQA review. And when we raised this concern, other parties did agree. But I'm happy to report the Public Utilities Commission listened, and that the rule they adopted last Thursday omitted provisions that authorize the best facilities. However, the rule that was adopted includes a number of troubling items, so we'll talk about that later in the agenda. So that's good. So now I'm going to look to the.
So where do you go?
Okay. On January 16th, we were supposed to have a pre-trial hearing, but because we needed to file another amendment of our legal complaint, to update it to include the transmission of franchise agreement adoption, the parties agreed to continue the hearing until February 20th. Also, we're hoping that at that time the administrative record should be released, and then we will certify it shortly thereafter. So that's what's happening with the lawsuit. The fires were absolutely horrible in Palisades and Altoona, for all those people. I immediately thought
I'm gonna write a letter because it just, somebody used to throw more fuel for our fire, but it just sent the message home that the risk is real for fire in Southern California. And adding a vest to a community like Acton, is just really not a good idea. But I restrained myself because I watched the first hour or so of Board of Supervisors meeting from, I think it was January 15th. And I really did see that our supervisors were shaken. They were really emotionally shaken. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna back off of contacting them about this. And then January 16th, Lost Landing goes up. So now the gloves are on. So I couldn't not address that. I also updated the team that's building the best siting ordinance for LA County. I sent them information on Moss Landing. So Moss Landing event was at the PG&E facility. There's actually 2 vests there. And the one that burned was Vistra. And Vistra actually has 3 sections. They built it in segments. So the Vistra 300 is the one that burned, and it was an indoor vest facility. The fire suppression system operated as planned. It was totally overwhelmed by the fire. Now, the industry is trying to say, the developers are trying to say, well, you know, this is older technology, we don't do indoor vest facilities anymore, we do containerized, because it works safe. They try to use that as an excuse, but under the UL testing methods, it's only tested at 12 miles per hour wind speed. So when they say it won't spread from container to container, in Acton at 12 miles per hour, it's a gentle spring breeze. We know that our winds exceed that almost speed. So the vest that burned, it consumed about 80% of that 300 megawatt indoor vest facility. The plume went straight up. Residents 13 miles away were complaining of sore throats, headaches, bloody noses in the morning. They tasted. It's in a general feeling that they might well. And the EPA came out and they had an independent air monitoring company come out. And of course, nothing to see here, everything seems fine, you know, nothing was exceeded. But yeah, they pushed harder because the supervisor for Monterey County, who oversees this area of Moss Landing, he, along with the assembly foreman in that area, they pushed for soil testing, water testing, in addition to air testing. And the soil testing came back right away with heavy metals. And the heavy metals were lithium, manganese, and cobalt, which are the components of a lithium-ion battery. So that's in an area called the Elkhorn Slough, or you say it in Slough. Yeah, well, and then it's the wetlands, so you've got otters in there, you might see fish spawning in parts of it, and fish go out to the ocean, and then we consume the fish, and it's an environmental disaster, it really is. And the energy industry is trying really hard to downplay it and say that it's an old system that never would have been approved under today's standards. You know what, I'm sorry, it's all about the battery technology. If those had been a different battery technology that weren't toxic when they burn, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. It's a toxic battery technology, and the industry needs to understand that in large scale utility deployment, that battery needs to be banned. It can't be used. It really needs to be. They need to move away from using those batteries in that large scale. You want to use it in a laptop, cell phone, electric toothbrush, fine. It's not going to be an environmental disaster when
that blows up, right? But when you've got, 750 megawatts sitting in one desk, and then you've got 730 megawatts sitting in the Elkhorn desk, which is right next to it at Moss Landing, and that's a Tesla facility. I mean, that's a lot of toxic exposure potentially if they all open up at once. But anyway, the assemblywoman, her name is Dawn Addis, she was right. The 3,200 foot setback comes from another bill that was passed that applied to natural gas and oil facilities. So it's not like a number they picked out of the sky. It's actually something that's already been applied in other energy sectors, just not battery. So, and then one other thing that was awesome that this AB 303 was asking for was that these facilities would not be built in environmental sensitive areas, such as very high fire severity zones and flood zones and wetlands and earthquake zones. So technically, the language in AB 303 would eliminate all of the potential locations in East Africa from being utilized by battery energy storage, at least battery energy storage that wants to utilize lithium-ion technology. Now, there's another argument there. I'm hoping that we're trying to throw a lot of support behind this bill. I worked with community leaders up and down California that are all fighting against battery storage. If they really wanted to meet their net zero carbon goals, they would realize that the battery storage is being held up because of communities opposing the project. And why are we opposing the project? Not because they're necessarily good with the project. We're not opposing them for aesthetics. We're opposing them for fire safety, for toxicity. And if the industry would just get the memo, like, well, maybe if we plan battery energy storage that did not utilize toxic and fire-prone technology, maybe these communities wouldn't oppose. I think they would solve 90% of their problem if they just switched to different technology, but they don't seem to want to do it because the bottom line is lithium-ion technology is a higher performing battery. It's got greater density and a longer lifespan than some of the other ones, but when it burns, it's a toxic nightmare. The fires, in our area, the fire is a big issue. Generally, to me, the toxicity is a greater issue for the general population. But in Acton, because we're a very high fire hazard severity zone, the fire issue is big. And if AB 303 was passed as written, we would be so grateful. So we're going to throw as much support behind it as we can. We've got people represented from Solano County, Sonoma County, Marin County, Monterey County, San Luis Obispo County, LA County, Orange County, San Diego County, and more are coming on board all the time. So we're trying to get a huge coalition of people. I'm asking residents to write our assembly person, Tom Lackey, Suzette Valderas, our state senator, and say if you want them to support AB 303. So, and we've also got a website developed that just come online, and the website will be a one-click. Basically, you click on the map of California, you click on LA County, and then it opens up, and there's 3 sample letters. You can choose from one, and it opens right up to an email, and all you have to do is sign your name, and it goes to your assembly person. It's really done. Quickly to put that out, but we have to show support for AB 303. Very important. Is the industry going to invite us? Is it in committee yet, or is it out of committee, or it hasn't gone? No, it was introduced on January 23rd. I think on February 23rd is when it will go to committee. Okay, so you know what? I'm listening like that. I move that we write a letter of support for AB 303
And we also ask our elected representatives to support it as well.
I was in the process of studying it, but they didn't have Tom Lamb.
All in favor?
It was straight out, I mean, I had to add Tom Lamb because my computer.
Bruce, what's the website to get the,
It's, they were updating it, they didn't have Tom Lampley on it, I said, well, where's my? I'm not putting this out to not my separate person on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want
Can
to
you send the link to the town council when it's up? And we can maybe post it on our website.
Right, and the website is up, they just didn't update it.
For us.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me too, yes, Bruce. So that's the latest with us, and it's, that is a huge turning point, that's our planning fire, huge turning point, for everybody that's going to be fighting against us. The fair is finally,
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry,
No, it's showing the truth of everything we said, and we've been, we've fought energy developers, standing on the board of supervisors, mindful of the team. And it's just astounding. So this is like everything that we've been trying to do.
you know, I have to say, when I watched the board supervisors meeting on the 15th of January, our supervisors showed such stellar leadership. And I saw Supervisor Barback is quite a bit younger. She was really shaken. I mean, her whole community at the Campbell States area just went, right? And I think that because she's so involved with the energy industry, she's sat on the board for Clean Energy Alliance, or, I mean, to me, that's a conflict of interest. But besides that, I feel like she will see our concerns possibly through a different set of eyes because of what she has now experienced. I mean, I've never seen that devastation. My husband being a firefighter for 30 years, he saw it all the time. He would storm the valleys and fires. He would have been in the middle of that one, ending up in an old van and been retired. I think for somebody that has never seen that, I mean, it bursts a bubble within you to actually see that devastation. And I'm hoping that she will have more respect for the fear that our community has for what could happen, because what we saw in Altadena, that could be accurate. You know, that could be accurate.
I think there is a shift in opinion because watching the news on that, and they had a storage place for Susan where they were bringing the Tesla batteries that had burned up. And they had the mayor that was being interviewed, and he was protesting bringing the burned batteries, lithium batteries, to that storage place because of the federal place. And he was, because he was afraid of explosions and because, yeah, and so I sense a changing in the wind.
Yeah.
It's worse than nonsense. It could be a Chernobyl.
Yeah.
No one will build again like in the United States forever. I mean, in our time,
Right.
life won't be able. This is the toxic material will stay in the ground. This is a totally different level of disaster that should be prevented.
So there's no requirement that these things be contained. You know, there's no concrete berm around it, concrete base, whatever it is, it's terrible.
And then you add EVs, you know, when you've got a major fire like Altadena and Palisades, you add EVs to that, you've got Tesla firewalls, power walls. You know, when people have their personal devices that may have been left behind in their house, they're lead. It's a mess. You've got all that toxicity that has made, you know, so much harder.
I don't know where they're gonna process the batteries from Los Angeles, that's gonna be a whole, another.
Well, when Lahaina burned, they had to take, there were a lot of EVs in Lahaina and a lot of power walls. And they had to find all those batteries and they had to haul them to a location where they literally had to steamroll them. Put steamroller, crush them, and wait for them to blow up. And if they didn't blow up, then a freighting ship would allow them to be brought on board. And then the freighter would take them to mainland, to Port LA, I guess. And then they would send them by truck or by train to Nevada, to recycle area in Nevada.
Which you can't recycle, those batteries once they've crushed.
I know, you can't unwind, you know, it's really fine oil, and they wouldn't take them on the ship unless they were assured that there was no way that battery was going to, because they've already scuttled at least, I think, 2 ships. That they have batteries in the whole brand new cars coming over. Because when they ship the cars, they ship the battery with a 30% charge because of the health of the battery. The battery requires a 30% charge for the health of the battery. So they must have some charge in the battery. If they didn't have any charge in the battery, then those cars would be harmless coming across the ocean. But they have to have a very good work. They have to have a and all batteries that get sent from South Korea and China and get sent to America, all those come by ship. They don't go by plane, they go by ship, and they're all shipped with a 30% charge.
You have amazing information that you learned over this last.
Yeah, so it's been almost 2 years now. PhD that's, yeah, batteries.
That's a PhD.
The part of the industry hasn't come after you to bring you to their side.
They don't want me. They wouldn't like what I have to say.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for listening. I have to say, did you get some?
Yes. Thank you.
Meeting schedule, so I put this on here, I wanted to talk about the one, meeting a month, we pick what we wanna, where we wanna stay the month, the first Monday or the Monday or whatever. Leaving open, of course, the possibility that we call it a meeting, we call it a meeting, but, some folks don't call the names up, so that's why they want to speak, but they had to have discussed a meeting that they, something they would like. So I put it on here. Oh, good. So thoughts,
It's not like
concerns?
we can't have another meeting.
Yeah.
So we're going to proposing?
Doing one meeting a month. So looking at like even like this year or in the past, so we had 1 year, last year, we didn't have any. We called them when there wasn't nothing scheduled could be at the home, but you know, January we have this month long, we have one. But it seems like once the meetings have been kind of updates on stuff that's kind of continuing. We occasionally have other things that we can work in there, but most of the last 6 months, I'd say, we're very focused on topics, which honestly probably a lot of what we should be, in my opinion, kind of focused on is like the big things and not, right, I can't have little things, but some of these are so existential threats to admin that they need all the attention. So anyway, those are my thoughts.
That would be maybe up to us, maybe can we have an hour early?
Or you mean like add a
At 6 o'clock, maybe, for example, before the actual public meeting, that way, have you have a movement, that they do, and then we can, it cuts down.
Yeah, they can't handle administrative matters from first time, so. I don't know what you would do with that. I guess minutes, I guess. Yeah.
Minutes and
Other than minutes.
And the reports, so maybe reports, you know, you could do.
Committee reports are kind of important. We're going to be talking about some things.
I agree, that's important to have in the general meeting. I think most of the things we need to have in the general meeting, and maybe it's really just our minutes, or if somebody can just say something that they're.
Or another idea would be to minister things into a virtual meeting that could be the second meeting. Right, so,
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I think it's have to be
But yeah, I take 2 seconds, but not very long.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I would maybe, put it, we'll have one meeting per month, review it in July.
I think that'd be, that's something, let's try it. Just get into the travel and see if that makes sense. And
Well, yeah, because I haven't really heard anything on the horizon.
it's
I mean, I know that Gary ordinance is gonna come, and I know that, we got the subdivision coming potentially.
But again, we can also, like I said, there's other proposals, we've done that, and that's, I think, we have this, especially.
And if we needed to have a, well, even so, it can be public, it needs to always be public. And if we're gonna be here, it would still be public.
This is thing for all here once a month.
Well, it's different.
One night I don't have to work.
What are you gonna do with that?
Oh, that's it.
So I don't want to, like I said, I'm not trying to
We have to do it in journal or things like that, or.
and I like the idea, let's do trials, let's just do it, see, what's out of here, right? Can we do that?
I'm just concerned about the amount of things that we've had over the last year that have taken up a lot of time, and I guess I'm gonna refer back to Jackie, the amount of work that Jackie has to do to prepare for our meetings. I don't want to sell that short to our community either. There's no way.
It's not having to prepare the second meeting.
There's no way that we are able to inform our community about how we used to. It was always in the Country Journal, and I for one missed the Country Journal because all of our information was there for our community. So I'm a little concerned, but I like, if I understand Don saying, we'll try, see where we are.
In July. Yeah, and really, off the top of your head, so like this month would only be a 1 month, any other holidays that we know of that we're gonna, that would mess with the meeting? So I'm just starting to wonder.
Just the 4th of July.
Yeah. So that would be like, so yes, we have March, April, May, this is one, we want to get that.
Good one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But can we kind of come forward a little bit towards the local people that live in this town and their issues and stuff? It has to be moved on to this whole outside things that are going on, like streetways and lane closures. Let's work on the people who live in the town.
Yeah, it's not
Okay, and then also, understanding that, I mean, who my years is living in this town, so I understand that there's another seat over there, actually, you might tell me.
Oh,
If you guys want, I could be an outsider looking in. I've served a lot of time in this town, and I'll share my other things with you after that. Nothing.
Well, so yeah, but somebody,
Oh, you go ahead and need to make a motion. Oh my gosh, okay. So I'll make a motion that we, change our schedule to 1 meeting a month.
Temporarily change our.
Yeah. Then you have it on the 1st of dirt or something? You have to specify that?
As a trial. As a trial. And we will revisit in July.
And which date would it be, the 1st or the 3rd?
so that's, so that, well, so let's take a second. So is there a second?
I'll say.
Yes, so then, so, yeah, I think that's a good question. Yeah.
And to answer your question from a minute ago.
Yeah.
A quick person to scroll through the calendar.
Yeah.
The only conflict that Chuck and I can think of would be September 1st.
Okay.
Labor Day. But otherwise, I don't see any.
Oh, and we get screwed up also with elections too. That's a problem.
But that's not much.
It's for this year.
No, but I mean, it's been a problem in the past.
getting at is like, you actually looked at like, how many meetings we would miss a year? There's like 5 months or something that like typically we just only have one meeting. And so it's like, really what we're talking about, like 6 or 7 months that would start from the premise of, we're gonna have one meeting, but we do that stuff. Because by the same token, we've had times where it's like that January, we had no meetings, because all of the dates were screwed up. But we still said what we did.
So I think it should be the third Monday because,
That's
you know, the elections, you know, the only thing it messes up with is President's Day.
Is President's Day and.
Oh, right. So those months we would change
I'm
it.
gonna caution you too from saying election won't affect it. Because they come in anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks before the election is set up the meeting.
Right.
And they're gonna host this place.
Well, I was thinking though,
So,
yeah, but I mean, if it's still in October, it would be like October 20th.
Right.
That might be wrong.
this last election, it would have been fine, but I think a couple ago, it wouldn't have been fine.
Well, then we'll just.
So just keep that in mind. I guess is all I'm saying.
I'm sure meetings be either the first or the third Monday of the week.
We have no way of letting the public know.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I like having the third meeting and then one meeting, just like before, we get adjusted on the month.
And if we decide that this is gonna work, what Don was just saying down there, would absolutely.
Yeah, but we don't say.
Do it on second, I don't think.
Is that?
Because July 1st, 4th of July.
Yeah, all those are the, Labor Day, Memorial, yeah.
The sooner you can let me know on that sort of thing, the better.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I can't say, like, oh yeah, second Monday would be fine, but generally,
I think that, I think we did July 1st, maybe I say that, it's side out, then we'll change it. But if we get to like, you know, July, things, so you want this really works, then we can talk about what the transitions were, that will have to be communicated.
So for the purposes of from now to July, we're gonna keep all the existing meetings. So Jim, we're gonna keep them, or?
No, I said we should have one,
Okay,
and then we should pick now which one we're doing the first.
All right, that's fair.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm not trying to,
No, I
feel like I'm being.
I just want to make sure I understood what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think between now and July, one,
The third week.
yeah, we see how that goes. If, so no, we break, we don't change anything, just put Monday and.
So we won't have one now until the third week in
March, which we were gonna miss the, oh no, yeah, we're gonna, yeah.
We're just accepting
And we won't just see the second one in February, last week, so, and she's saying it's gonna be literally a month from now. Or,
Well, even if we do one on the third, then it would be the third week of April. So it's like either way, we're getting the 6 weeks. So,
if it's called, if we need to,
You know,
anything.
that was the only problem I had was calling these special meetings because they weren't easy to do before and they were always last minute. And then we worked with farming the community and
Then you have to look on our website.
but they don't.
the last special meeting I think we convened was for Human or Best, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For what, Jackie?
The Human or Best part.
Oh,
Oh, we got that one for the,
Here's one in August this year.
Oh, you said, that's right, yeah, that's right.
So you're doing the March 3rd one?
no, I think we're.
Okay, the 17th is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we've got,
March.
we'll be able to do that.
we'll have more music there. We'll grab people, hey, we'll bring here.
And just like always, if you guys need to schedule a special meeting, give me a call, I'll get you whatever I can get you.
yeah. The room is available.
Yeah, if it's available, I'll give it to you.
Our next meeting, lost.
It would be the third Monday in March.
Well, what's third Monday?
Second.
17th?
So we're gonna go.
And the town is running, people like to celebrate. But I think that
Okay,
is, so maybe make it March 3rd and then the rest of them.
Okay, that would be.
Because that's a huge amount of time.
But it's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge if we do that one, and then we go to the third one, then from March to April. Yeah. And actually, what is Thanksgiving, or not? Oh, I do.
Easter.
Easter's the 20th, and then so the 21st would be the day after.
Maybe we just skip the first.
Why
don't we stick with the first? I think we should stick with the first.
And also, how does that affect us with the board of supervisors meeting? That,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be on Monday, so it's always gonna be 94. Yeah. And what's gonna happen, if we find something on the board of supervisors, like if the film ordinance pops up, like, we're gonna have to call it.
Call special meeting. Well, and like the right, and well, for this month, we would have to call special meeting, if we don't have something.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, it sounds, I think it sounds scarier than what it is, because reality is like half almost half the months. Typically, we could have had to schedule a special meeting, we could have go meetings, or we could call the second, and we needed to call second.
Right. Okay, so we'll just stick with the first Monday.
And then probably wait till July to review it, see how.
Yeah, I think that's, I like the escape hatch of that, because if it's not hanging out, it's not a big deal, just to say,
Yeah, we'll go back.
Yeah. And it's really.
And we will revisit it in July.
Second. All right.
oh, Jackie seconded it.
Well, but there was some change on the. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't add the date to it.
No. We didn't add You can clarify, so that, yeah. All right, all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Maybe.
I totally get it.
Well, I'm just concerned that we're changing the schedule for our community, and our community has no way of knowing. I don't know how to get this out to people now.
Okay,
The first Monday of every month, right?
I notify everybody like a week,
Yes, you do.
5 days to a week in advance
Yes,
of
you
the
do.
upcoming meeting. So I put out the active town council symbol, don't forget to tune.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
it's a
awesome.
reminder, but, and I also do it on Facebook. And I do it on like 5 or 6 Facebook groups. So, I mean, I have no other way to, next door and Facebook.
There's just so many people that
They don't do social media, but
they don't do social media. Especially our older.
But look at the mad crowd that we, I mean, the only time you get a big crowd is when there's a baby.
You should give me a notice, I can tape it on the meeting doors.
Okay, that's
Before your, so it'll be your third meeting in March, right? Third meeting.
First,
But you're skipping the third,
Right.
it's the third month, right?
Yes, the third Monday.
So if you give me a notice before that first skip meeting.
Yeah.
I can make sure I slap it on the door so when anyone walks in, we'll see.
We can talk about the meetings too, I mean, you text me with.
I'm joking, okay?
About the meetings.
You know what, Hillary Waugh does a newsletter that she mails out.
Yeah, she is.
And so maybe we can have her put that on the
But it's not
newsletter.
everybody. Her doesn't go to the whole evening.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Action on those issues, but
Yeah.
I contacted her about the town council meeting, first and third. I just called it maximum.
Jim, just to clarify, we're gonna need the first Monday.
First Monday between now and July. So the third Mondays I will kick off the schedule.
Yeah.
Unless you guys call me and say, hey, can you get that back?
Got it.
And I'll put the point in to see if it's available.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be, probably. And you can just say, hey, yeah, this is good.
What is it?
Let me share with all.
All right, well, I'm not.
So, okay.
Sure, Mike, he's got something to share.
Well,
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to share with everybody that we've been talking about what my financial, blah, 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 what to do, et cetera. And decided not to spend the efforts, but to 6 foot solid fence all the way around the place. It's not going to go back. Okay, so Dana Geringer, he sent me this letter after I met with him, and then the department, they did not give you a piece of paper that you fulfilled and we corrected all
They
the
clear, they
violations.
don't clear that, they'll be.
And, but in the first few words, you can read this, and you get,
The department does not provide a follow-up inspection document regarding inspection notes. However, this email should suffice. On January 6th, 2025, investigating planner Daniel Behringer met with Ronald Hoffman regarding the property between the assessor VPN 04 and 60, and noted forward progress for removal of items from the subject property. Inspection noted substantial progress has been achieved, and the zoning enforcement case will be closed following completion of inspection notes. Photographs. Continue to spread the remaining materials throughout the subject property regarding the pump house unit covered, between the pump house is located on APN lawn, there is primary zoning enforcement case for that property. Finally, continue work with Christine Carlin regarding the proposed project reproperty for free contact. So that's great news.
very, very good. Hi, you're a good person. So, all right, so, I just want to share with you that I'm, after all this now, I'm gonna bring back a couple of my overseas containers. And, we're gonna get violated again, maybe with this. But if you can stand behind me, because I got a 67-foot bed, going back in my driveway, etc. And then you look at, why am I doing this? Because all my kids, and I am building a garage, I spent almost 100 grand ready, got the garage, paid for it, all the stuff. But you see what they're doing at the trailer park over there? They're under construction.
Yeah, we talked about it.
And they're doing all this stuff, and you know what? You're gonna tell me to take my stuff off my property, you kiss my living wife. Why are you leaving me? I didn't tell you to take it from me. I'm bringing my Corvette back, and I'm just hoping that somebody can stand behind me.
I am.
Okay? And I'll put it in the box,
on you.
and then when I get my garage built, it's going back in there. So if I can get everybody over that.
Does anybody that has to live across the street from Campus Street gets my support?
Yeah.
That's right.
20-something years we've been fighting this.
That's unbelievable.
But now it's been so much longer.
But anyways, okay.
I feel like it's been so much longer than 20 years.
So, it's so nice to be able to hear everybody. Now I got my hearing aids. I mean, I don't want to walk in, walk out like that all of a sudden. What the hell? Where'd it go?
You went to use hearing aid, that's where it is.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. And everybody, especially, good to see you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thanks. Anything I can do for this community, knock on my door, I'll be there.
Okay.
Okay? All right, thank you guys. I gotta get that word.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, I passed out the minutes actually for
Yeah.
December 2nd and January 6th, which I was not at that meeting, but Jackie gave me a few notes about the time the meeting started, who was here, when it ended, and a couple of different subjects that you talked about. So I had to put it not available for certain things on there. So if anybody has any information that you fill in, please let me know. Any of those A spots.
Oh, I can, we can prepare notes for that meeting, so I can send it.
Okay. Okay. And just so you know, you all still have draft minutes for all the way back to September 16th. Draft?
Yeah.
Yes, in June, you've given me all your notes.
Yes.
Okay, you're caught up through November. You're good. I promised last June.
I promise you, I will read notes on this. And I will amend, I'll amend that one. And I will go back and by the next week.
Okay. Perfect.
But
Don't be saying he didn't in the attic because he was the. Oh, you will get all of those.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, thank you, and we will make sure we go through the process as much as available. Thanks for
You got till March 1st or March 3rd.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I know, there you go.
All right.
It was gonna be that.
Yeah, it was, yeah, we'll be charged. Okay, councilwoman comments, Scott, let's go.
All comments have been already made.
I like that. June, how about you?
I'm attending the meeting for the Akron Archaeological Collaborators meeting. And then it started last year.
What is that?
And it has to do with all the events that's happening in the community. They want all arranged. So if we have anything special, like a meeting, I could put as, no, because they're clubbing, every group and stuff like that. And also I did contact the Akron Archaeological News, they changed last year, ownership. Amanda is the one now doing it, so she knows our schedule of what we're meeting at, let her know. And also with Hillary Blaha, everything which she puts out for the community. I also brought it, and we had updates to change our meeting now, first of the month, first Monday. On that one. And I attended the swearing of Senator, who said there, the first time I've been something like Senate swearing in by the mayor of Santa Clarita. And I also went to the retirement party, you were there, of Carlos and Sales. And Anna is the one that's kind of in charge, because Carlos only part-time, she said. So they're only going to share the position, they're not hiring anybody else to do this position. Not
Like Chaco.
yeah. So, that was quite interesting.
All right, nothing,
Oh, and I gave the cards out from the Akron Town Council from graduating them, to children, some of the senior club quiz line.
excellent, well, thank you for that.
There are first names only, of course.
Yeah, no, thank you, appreciate it. All right, that's it for me.
I do have one thing, it's Black History Month, and so I just wanted to share with you, I'm a huge fan of Martin Luther King.
Have your coat. I got your coat, you put it down in the.
Oh, on our letter, yeah, that's what I did too. But I have it on my wall, and it's something from his, from one of his sermons. And it says that the hope of a secure and livable world lies with disciplined non-conformity. And it's true, and so I just, those are words I try to live by, and doing what we do is, it's nothing but non-conformity. Right? This is what the county says you have to do, the state, or the fill in the blanks. What you're gonna do is, I don't think so. So, but you're disciplined. Many people are non-conformists, but people make the difference of the ones to sit down and act on it, and put it in principle. And that's what everybody in this room does. And I just appreciate that. So and thanks especially for what you guys do. Thank you very much.
So much attack. So all I can tell you is I'm starting new chemo next week. So I'm having a bunch of tests this week, and I haven't been participating like I did before. So I don't want you guys to have an empty seat here in case, I need to resign or something like that. So I feel like I need to let you know. Right now, I'm saying, hell no, I'm going to fight it like I did before. But it's 2 years already, and I don't know. So, and if you, I miss hanging out with Jackie and learning and going into meetings. And, the other night, our last meeting, I tried to get on the Zoom in January, and I couldn't do it. And Tyler wasn't home to help his granny get on there, so I don't know what the problem was. But, I don't want to abandon what we've all worked so darn hard for. So, That's where I'm at, and I don't want to let you know that at the last minute, that, oh, it's not looking good, and I'm gonna have to do my thing. So, there's a whole lot of people praying for me, down right there.
And don't, don't.
I know,
Don't
Jackie.
put pressure on yourself, and we will do anything we can to help
I
you,
know,
anybody.
I know that.
But this is not the level of pressure I get, I mean, I can't imagine being issues I've never experienced that way. But sometimes you need something to push forward. So if this council gives you that, then that's important, but it
That's
can't
one of my
be
friends,
converted.
one of Myron's, contractor cities have for, called me today out of clear blue sky to see how I was doing at the end of our discussion, and he said, just keep pushing forward. And I agree with you, Jackie. You know, if I just sit at home, all of a sudden it's a pity party, and I don't want that. So, but I don't want to abandon you either. I tell everybody I'm here because I can't.
We'll take whatever we get.
And I'll take whatever I can get.
We should present the show.
Yes, I
Don't feel the pressure to do it. We'll have you, as
I know I can call any one of you and help my back. So, that's
Well,
right.
and Pam, you have a whole town that loves you.
So, well, you guys,
But you
let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'd be here.
Thank you.
I mean, no,
And I love you guys. There is so much that you've done, that everybody on here does. If we weren't town of.
Just something non-conformed,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even know the right word to use, because we fight hard for the lifestyle that we want. So,
but we know what kind of lifestyle we love and we fight hard for that lifestyle.
and who else gets cookies brought to their town home? Thank you.
Yeah.
all right. Given so education.
No, although I do, it's sort of related, I want to go to the school board meeting and ask on behalf of the town council.
Yeah.
Work with us on the PSPS. So,
Yes.
let's do that.
I think we'll-
Okay, planning coordinating, what are we gonna do about this new policy that one-stop meetings are private and not open to the public, and then to get information about
I think
privacy?
we need to confirm with somebody that became,
Yeah.
just somebody's interpretation, so they always. I'm not, maybe I'm good.
Yeah, maybe it's.
Well, no, I was just saying, have you had an interaction with this particular, this with the Canadian person that
The first one, the person who said submit a public records act request, yes, we did give us a.
yes, I'm talking about the person who actually replied said no.
Yeah, that, I don't know that was
doesn't mean-
unfamiliar to me.
So,
Oh, she sent us the material, which was a remarkable.
Yes, so, so I'm curious whether this is an official policy or this is just her interpretation of it. I would want to clarification.
So maybe contact her directly and say they've always been public in the past, and is there, has county changed its meeting policies?
Actually, I would go food chain down the region there, hey, these guys, this message is true.
Okay, well, how about if she says that, then maybe go food chain.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm gonna feel like, because you're right, maybe we should ask her directly, maybe she really doesn't understand.
Well, yeah, but my only problem clarifying is like, that I think we didn't see these, which is like, well, that's,
Maybe not.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think so, yeah, it goes for her first, but
Okay, it's they've always been public.
Does that make sense?
I mean, like, we were just acting, so that's very.
Well, I participated in one.
Yeah,
And Jackie wasn't able to stay the whole time, so she asked if I could, stay on the meeting. And I asked questions on behalf of Jackie.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't want to.
And
Sometimes
they were like real nice. I mean, they
Really?
did really appreciate that I was asking the question. I sent it down on behalf of, town council.
so, yeah, I made clarification, and if it is like, hey, but this would help, this is interesting, what will change with this policy change? I mean, I didn't create this nexus of like, what was the this for, other than,
Well, I'll do that, and then, if she comes back and says, no, that's our new policy, then we'll write a letter to her, Director Bodak, and ask clarification, be like, why? Why? Because we've never disrupted a meeting, and we've never, certainly none of the ones I've ever participated in, I didn't even say a word unless they asked me something.
Correct. And the impetus was for us to be able to make informed commentary, like to be thinking ahead.
Yes, start with. Actually, you'd like to write that comment letter ahead of time.
Yes.
So you need to know about this, so.
Because they're also supposed to make an appearance here, and frequently we actually have some information on them that they show up, and they're like, we want to build a feed park on this 1 acre lot in the middle of that. You want to do what? Like, well, did anybody tell you, no, we wouldn't want to stop, and they just said, we had to rezone. Like, right. Did they explain what the rezoning would take? No, what's the big deal? You know, that kind of stuff. It just helps us prepare to make actually important stuff. I think, I have ideas.
It is important.
Honestly. Yeah. I'm hoping this is just so many positions like that.
My first one-stop meeting that I attended, and it wasn't for myself, it was public, it was 25 years ago. So they've always been out there.
I don't understand why they wouldn't be.
It was in 2000.
It's like, what kind of secret shit?
I have a theory.
Yeah, I would, okay.
I have a theory that, you know, the best developers, they want everything to be confidential. They don't want
Yes.
to get the
community,
they don't want to have a perception.
Yeah.
But so they don't
The
want.
county's supposed to be transparent.
Yes, well, the county is, yes, but developers, they don't really want us knowing that they're coming, what their project's about, what technology they're gonna use, where it's going to be, all that is like, shh. Even Cal ISO protects their location. It's
It's a good theory.
that's my theory.
So I'll do that with her, and now the thing about asking, in the past, when you said, can you see something on Intergov? I mean, what the heck is the point of Intergov if you're not gonna give us the information about it? So
we don't need to go like, then we have to like, go to the on everything, because we're basically blind. Like, you blind for this in the room, we don't really see it. So we're just explaining everything.
Can you request a transcript of the one?
No, they don't make transcripts, but it's not a.
Well, like, first, let's just see if it's just missable. This person, I've never seen his name on something, so I don't know if this is like somebody, so I can imagine doing anything like, oh, well, that's, you know, I'm like, until somebody says it's not actually, like, so.
Well, there's nothing confidential going on.
There should be.
It's a.
Well, it's confidential, and she did a really bad job.
So then on the other thing about making you go to a public records act request, normally, if they put it on the public side of Epic LA, they don't write, copy of the check and then they go, because they got it, bank account. Yeah. So, I guess go back to him and say, you always just put this stuff on Epic LA. Is there a new policy? And ask him that, and then he can tell us. Because there's two different things. Two different things. So
I think it's fair to go back to them and ask what's changed. But then say this is never going to be right, and let them say, oh, change this one. Right. Okay, great. I was going to have to find cool say this is great. Here's why. Like, I can't imagine a world where they're like, we want us to literally emailing them every single project, asking for all the stuff that should came to me, rather than to the website and grab it. Like, that seems nuts.
And most of the time, agencies hate
That's what I mean.
record act requests. They're a pain in the neck.
Yes, those are
Even the regional planning office, worse than things. But that's another side.
But my point is just like, that's the alternative, like the whole point of that was like self-service, blocking up the bug, that's just.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we'll do. All right, that's the only thing I had on planning.
Cool. All right, Heritage got it up there. The list change between them. But with me, yeah.
Well, nothing to report, since I wasn't doing much.
I did finish the 1099s, and I gave them.
Oh, cool. And I gave her a report to fill out everything that I need for the taxes.
We're pretty much up to date.
I didn't have to get a review, like, hey, sure, like, so, which
which I really appreciate. I'm not making fun of it. I was like, no. It's great. Actually, I really appreciate it because it was, but see, it only took 2 or 3 years, and then now I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Which my ADD brain is amazing that like for 4 seconds, you're, oh, shiny.
Are you gonna deal with
So.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Oh, yeah, there's a rat.
Well, should we?
No, just in general.
Oh, okay.
Community standards for nothing there. And trails open space.
No, other than the conversation we had today, so
Yeah, so
are we going to reach out, I guess Josie's going to talk to Public Works, and find out about that, so let me just,
Put it on
many of
that.
us remember, follow up with Josie regarding Pembroke Woods.
Well, and they did sell the Acton Rehab Center.
Yes,
It's
oh,
sold.
yes. They sell it.
It's sold.
No, yeah, well,
It's like a,
It's been sold, a deed?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
it is